Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey everybody. I was like, I almost forgot how to do my own damn show for a second. What's going on? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'm your host, Chris Avalon, and we'll be talking about all the things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, whatever's popping off on this good old internet. We'll be talking about it on this show. So if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, also smash that notification button. So that way, you know, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And unfortunately, I'm under the weather today. That's why I'm drinking this ice coffee. It is cold in the throat. It's like I woke up, my throat was sore. It was sore yesterday too, but I'm hoping I won't be coughing throughout this live. Um, but yeah, I wasn't feeling well. I think it was just like this weather change and just being around all these damn people. I think I'm going back to wearing a damn mask. That's what I think I'm doing. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm here to give you a show as promised. So of course we got to talk about the Diddy stuff. You know that broke last night. I know. Friend of the show, Robert was like, "Where's Chris? He need to go live." I was like, I already did a live. That was 4 hours. That's a lot of energy. I didn't have it in me like 2 hours after we wrapped the show. When did the Diddy stuff come out? Like around 9 o'clock, 8, maybe a little earlier. I was like, after that, like we clocked out at like damn near 8 o'clock, 7:30 to be exact. And I was like, I do not have the energy to get on here and do this thing. So I was like, I'm gonna wait because I know like some of them other pundits where y'all always try to be ahead of the curve, so that way y'all can hit that so y'all can get them numbers. And that's good or whatever if you want to do that. But I like to wait until more information comes out before I start running off with, you know, breaking news or whatever you want to call it. So a lot of stuff did come out this morning. I know it's after 3, so I know Diddy was supposed to appear before a judge. I'm gonna probably check in, you know, and see if any later, like any of the latest information has come out in regards to that. But I'm gonna just give y'all what I have so far. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Diddy. Now speaking of Diddy, he ain't the only one out here that's getting lawsuits for being a whore and a pimp and sexual exploitation and things of that nature, because more models who were a part of the whole Abercrombie and Fitch situation have come out and revealed some tea about, you know, the sinister insideness of the Abercrombie and Fitch empire. So we're going to break that down too. So it's a lot of heavy stuff, but I want to get that out of the way so we can get to more of the other stuff, which is Beau DeMayo is spilling tea on the idea and the draft that he wrote. He said he wrote a couple of them for the Blade movie that he was hired to work on the script. So I'm going to break that down. Plus, Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction has broken his silence over the fight that happened between his bandmates, because it was more than one. It wasn't just Dave Navarro. They jumped in. He's speaking out. The people say he's been, you know, on them narcotics and things of that nature for a while now. People just now talking about it. So we'll break that down. Plus, we got more stuff, more on the whole Dave Grohl affair on his wife Jordyn. So we're going to talk about that. And I think he made a rare appearance for the first time since the allegations came out. Plus, we got to talk about Jenny Shimizu. If you don't know who that is, she's a supermodel who once upon a time was dilly-daddling with Madonna. So they had a little fling back in the day. And I think they was like Jenny revealed that she was punching Madonna and Angelina Jolie at the same time. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Wendy Williams, we haven't spoken about her in a minute. We had some good news about her, but apparently there's a new Wendy Williams lawsuit that we need to break down. Justin Timberlake, people were dragging him over his recent appearance over at on Jimmy Fallon. I think that was last night. I don't care. I wasn't watching. I don't particularly, y'all already know how I feel about Justin, but since it's in the news, we're going to talk about it. Rumors are swirling that the Kardashians have been canceled over at Hulu. We're going to break that down. Miley Cyrus, speaking of lawsuits, she's being sued because they're saying that she ripped off a Bruno Mars song for her hit Flowers. Dula Peep is revealing why she don't get personal with her music. Chapel Moan is out here still whining and complaining to anybody who will listen about how she hates fame. Girl, go away at this point. And Marlon Wayans is dragging Elon Musk over how he's treating his trans daughter, but he's also opening up about his own situation regarding his trans son and the different stages of grief that he had to go through in order to mourn his daughter, who is now his son. So, or some people like to say, my bonus child. So, we got that and a whole lot more, but if you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe button and smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Amler Unfiltered. And I see we have comments. Felix is in the building. Said, did you get to watch? No, I did not, because it was just, I saw that you messaged me on it, but no, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I was busy trying to catch up on all this other stuff and the breaking news about Diddy. So I was researching and getting all the information I could on that. And by the time I looked, it was like 3 a.m. So I didn't get around to watching it. So I definitely I definitely need to check it out. I'll get around to it this week. So she said celebrity rehabs, there were people who crave drugs and threaten to leave if they don't get what they want, and the doctors give in because they don't want to lose the money. Well, yeah, it's an unfortunate cyclical type of situation. It's like these people, the rehab is there to try to help them. So when they're going through those withdrawals, when they're going through those situations, you need to have medical professionals in place that helps them get off the drugs. But why would you want to do that when you want them to keep coming back so that way you can keep the money coming? So that's why I said, like, between this and the medical industry and how y'all just be sitting out here exploiting all these people, it's a sad thing. I heard a lot about it last night after 10. Yeah, but I was like, I think he got arrested earlier than that. But then, yeah, it came out. I just saw the TMZ posted that Diddy offers $50 million to get released on bail. Wait, wait, I'm confused by that. You're saying he's offering $50 million, or he's gonna pay it, or what is his bail? Because I don't think he's getting out. And that's probably why, because he knew all this was coming. That's why he got rid of that. He had to put up that money recently. I think it was $50 million. And then on top of that, there was a situation with he had to pay that man $100 million. I have all of that information that was recently that came out. Yeah, she was in the girly show, so they was munching boxes and things of that nature. She's a model, but she was also a dancer. Actually, that was when they were seeing each other. So Kelly was saying that there are people who send in addicts they know aren't successful in recovery to AA and NA meetings to get them to relapse. That's insane how they was doing that. Well, you might be disappointed when I break that story down, so don't get too excited. I hope that's true. I mean, I figured what you were talking about, but anyway, let's get right into it. Let me hit my banner. And I was like, yeah, let's get this out of the way, because I don't want to keep y'all, I don't want to, edge y'all. I like to edge. I'm really good with edging people during the show. But I was like, I'm not going to do that. We need to get this, no nasty cottonmouth mother flower off the line, because I don't want to be up here all day talking, like waiting and anticipating and breaking down all these other stories to get to the diddler. But yeah, Stink Mouth was arrested because I heard he got some halitosis issues. I heard Diddy got the bad breath, honey, but I wouldn't be surprised. So, they said, according to reports, he's officially facing serious criminal charges following his arrest in New York on Monday night. Because he was actually supposed to be turning himself in today, but apparently they got him yesterday. And the funny part was, and this is why I don't understand, because, or maybe it had to do with the fact that, they had to dot all their I's and cross all their T's before they could lock him up. Because a lot of people saying, well, all these accusations and all these things that was coming out of what he did to Cassie, why wasn't he in jail? And I guess they really wanted to get him on these current charges that we got coming out. So that was the way they could do the whole swoop down, and get him behind bars. You can't get him on the stuff with Cassie when he flat out lied and said he never put paws on her. And then, a month later, we saw the video footage that he kept in his own thing. And the worst part about all of this is he kept video of the freak-offs, which the feds got to look at. So they said the rapper 54 has been charged with 3 crimes: racketeering, trafficking, and transportation to engage in, prostitution. An indictment unsealed this morning revealed revolting details of his alleged behavior, but did not name the many people accused of helping him perpetuate the vile abuse. So there's word on the street that there was some people, and there's also some celebrities that was caught up in them freak offs and the videos and stuff, and their names is gonna be coming out soon. But the one I found the most entertaining was the fact that um they spilled a lot of tea in regard, like what is it? Associated Press. I would play y'all the press conference or whatever, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm always iffy with the whole demonetization of people trying to say it's copyright infringement and stuff. So I'm gonna read y'all what they said. But we need to break down what they said, what was going on. So they said an indictment unsealed this morning revealed revolting details of his alleged behavior, but did not name the people. Among the most sordid revelations was that more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube were seized from his homes. Combs was also accused of making women have sex with male prostitutes until they were so worn out they required IV drips. Some of the allegations listed date back as far as 2009. So this has been stuff that's been percolating for 15 years. But if y'all been paying attention to a lot of the other stuff over the years, especially when Rolling Stone broke down the story, about Diddy and getting into his whole background, this was going on since his days before Uptown Records, when he was in college, when he was all of this other stuff, and how he was how he would stalk girls and was being abusive towards women, and how he had this crazy sexual appetite. It's just now all coming out. So they basically said that Sean Diddy Combs presided over a sordid empire of sexual crimes, coercing and abusing women for years, threatening them to keep them in line, and enlisting a cast of aides to cover it up. This is what, according to the indictment that was unsealed. The music mogul engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals, including physical violence, in order to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. This is according to the indictment. It describes him as inducing female victims and male sex workers into drugged up, sometimes days-long sexual performances dubbed freak-offs. It also refers obliquely to an attack on his former girlfriend, Sigga Cassie, who was also captured on video. Combs, as you know, was arrested late Monday in Manhattan, roughly 6 months after federal authorities conducting a sex trafficking investigation raided his luxurious homes in Los Angeles and Miami. He is due in court on Tuesday afternoon, which means I'm not sure if it's happened already because I haven't checked, online, whatever. But I saw that one of his sons was there. They said all three of his sons was there, which was there. But don't you have two? And the other ones were Al B. Shore. Well, so you better remove yourself far away from that man. So you find out all the things he did to your mother, allegedly. But I did see King Combs was there this morning. I did see that photo. So it also goes on to say prosecutors said that they would seek to have Combs detained pending trial. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, I think that's how you say his name, said outside the courthouse Tuesday morning that he'd fight to keep him free. I don't think so. Keep his ass locked up, put his ass under the jail, in my damn opinion. And that Combs is innocent and will plead not guilty. His spirits are good. He's confident, said the attorney, who said Combs came to New York voluntarily to engage the court system and start the case. And literally hours before he was put behind bars, I don't know if people are aware of this, but he was out in Central Park relaxing like it was just a regular day, like a regular citizen relaxing out in Central Park before he was arrested in his Manhattan hotel room. And then I'm gonna also break down the other stuff too. Like we have like the people who accuse him of assault, and then Aubrey O'Day has also spoken out. So we're gonna get to those as well. So they also went and said the indictment describes Combs, the 54-year-old founder of Bad Boy Records, as the head of a criminal enterprise that attempted to engage in trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, robbery, and obstruction of justice. This dude must think he in that damn Sicario movie. He's accused of striking, punching, and dragging women, throwing objects and kicking them, and getting into his personal assistants, security, and household staff to help him hide it all. The evidence in the case is incredibly powerful, prosecutors said in documents seeking Combs' detention. They said they have interviewed over 50 victims and witnesses and expect the number to grow. Combs and his associates, plural, wielded his power and prestige to intimidate and lure women into his orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Excuse me, this is according to the indictment. It says he then would use force, threats, and coercion to get the women to engage in with male sex workers in the freak-offs, elaborate and produce sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often recorded, creating dozens of videos. He sometimes arranged to fly the women in and ensured their participation by procuring and providing drugs, controlled their careers, leveraging his financial support, and using intimidation and violence, according to the incident. The events could last for days, and Combs' victims will often receive IV fluids to recover from the exertion and drug use, the indictment said. It said his employees facilitated freak-offs by arranging travel, booking hotel rooms, stocking them with such supplies as drug and baby oil. Okay, can we pause on a second? What's up with the damn baby oil? Like, were you trying to do some sort of oil wrestling type situation? Like, I don't get the baby oil. Like, don't get me wrong. I know being a, black, my father, on my father's side, we black. And yes, I know. Even in the wintertime, my ass get ashy too. Trust and believe. But what's up with the damn baby oil? Like, y'all sitting there lathering yourselves up in the baby oil before y'all start y'all freak over. I don't understand the point of the baby oil. I understand lubrication and things of that nature because you need a lot of lube if y'all gonna be hunching for days on end. But I don't get the whole baby oil thing. Y'all want to make sure that everybody's just shiny, shining as bright as the Empire State Building. Is that what we need the baby oil for? Inquiring minds want to know. Well, my inquiring mind, because I'm nosy. So it said, stocking them with such supplies as drugs and baby oil, scheduling the delivery of IV fluids, and cleaning the rooms afterward. Now, during a search of Combs' homes in Miami and LA this year, law enforcement seized narcotics, videos of the freak-offs, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. He must have put Dwayne Reed out of business getting on that damn baby oil. According to the prosecutors, they said agents also seized firearms and Kmart and Walmart. They said agents also seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, 2 of them broken into parts in his bedroom closet in Miami. The incident portrays Combs as a violent man who choked and shoved people, hit and kicked victims, and sometimes dragged them by the hair, causing injuries that often took days or weeks to heal. His employees and associates sometimes witnessed his violence and kept victims from leaving or tracked down those who tried. Well, guess what? I need names. Name them, in the words of my girl Sutton. Because them people that was in his employment that was helping, enabling, and being a part of this, I want all their ass thrown up under the jail. Not just the diddler. We need all of them in there, right next to him. And I say this, y'all better watch out for Diddy, because we don't need him ending up like Jeffrey Epstein, where they're going to sit up and say he unalived himself. And I'm like, first of all, we know he going to sing like a canary to get a deal or whatever the case is. Kind of similar to how I feel what's going to happen with Austin Wolf. He's going to, burn some bridges and start snitching just so that we can get a reduced sentence. But child, if y'all do that, you better go into hiding, because, if there's people that are high up in the situation that's been helping you facilitate these freak-offs that can take you out, you might want to be careful with what you put out in these streets. They're going to want you to take that L. But Diddy thinks he above it all. That's why he just been walking around like he just regular schmegler. So they said it alleges that Combs tried to and sometimes kept videos of victims engaging in sex acts and used the recordings as collateral to ensure the women's continued obedience and silence. He also exerted control over victims by promising career opportunities, providing and threatening to withhold financial support, dictating how they looked, monitoring their health records, and controlling where they lived, according to the incident. Now, I believe this because remember at one part they did say that he had access to Cassie's medical records. Remember when that story came out a while ago? So if he had access to her medical records, you don't think he was going to have access to all these other people's? And who are these people in the medical facility that's allowing a grown-ass man who don't have the MD at the end of his last name? I ain't never heard of no Sean, John, Combs, PhD, MD, whatever kind of D. He was slinging the D, but no PhD or no MD at the end of his last name. So I don't know how this ninja walking around having access to this stuff and these people allowing it, because it seemed like it's easier to pay off a lot of these greedy ass doctors and whoever else is working in a lot of these facilities he was getting control of, because it wasn't just the doctors. Remember, how did he get that footage of him beating on Cassie in the hotel room? He clearly paid somebody in the security office to wipe the shit, give it to him, and then he get to keep it, which ended up incriminating himself in the end. When you keep evidence like it's a damn trophy. This was serial killers and sociopaths do. And Diddy ain't nothing but a damn sociopath. He ain't, well, we don't know if he ever unalived somebody. But this is some sociopathic, narcissistic, egomaniacal, power hungry type of behavior. Now, as the threat of criminal charges loomed, Combs and his associates pressured witnesses and victims to stay silent, offering bribes and supplying false narratives to what happened, the indictment says. All of this, prosecutors allege, was happening behind the facade of Combs' global music, lifestyles, and clothing business. Well, yeah, I didn't know it was at this magnitude, but I seen behind that facade of Diddy. I've been out here saying for years, that Diddy ain't nothing but the devil. A lot of y'all just now catching on. I've always said that about him. The things I've heard and the things I've known him to do in this business, not to this magnitude of all the stuff that's coming out, but there was always something about this man I was like, I don't trust him as far as I could throw him. I always used to call him the devil. So also says that all of this, prosecutors allege, was happening behind the facade of his global music, blah, blah, blah. Now, a year ago, Combs stood in Times Square and was handed a key to New York City. Today, he's been indicted and will face justice. This is what U.S. Attorney Damian Williams said at a news conference on Tuesday. Yeah, that was the one that I saw, and that's why I was like, let me go over to Associated Press, because I saw like he was doing a press conference and stuff with them, and I was like, let me read it, because I know they probably pull it all down, but I could read it here because I didn't want to get demonetized. So I was like, I'm not going to put that on my situation. So I'm going to just read y'all the key. Now, Combs returned the key in June. Yeah, but people was dragging Mayor Adams for dragging his damn feet over getting that key. Because when all this other stuff was coming out, it was like, excuse me, sir, when we going to get this key to the city back? And like everything else, Mayor Adams was dragging his feet on it. Finally had to give in. So I'm glad all this is coming out. And what people need to realize, like, when you have people like, who else? Because I know we have a list of people who have come out and said, who have come out and accused him of stuff. Because remember, we had Dawn Richard just came out. She's the latest one that said she was manipulated by Combs on promises that he would help her music career, but he was doing some assaults, and she's accusing him of sexual harassment and abuse. Meaning, not like he arred her like he did Cassie and so many others that we don't know about, and all the other people that's in the lawsuits. But he smacked on her butt. He touched her boobs. That is a form of sexual abuse. That is a form of sexual harassment. Penetration doesn't only mean abuse. And he has a pattern that we've seen happen over the years. And I believe all of it. So that's like when they said, like, Diddy and the staff worked to silence his victims. I believe all of it. I believe how he orchestrated these performances. He's running his enterprise like he's Al Capone or Don Corleone. I told you, I come from the generation of like hip hop where it was like gangster rap, and how a lot, especially in New York hip hop, how they try to run up in here acting like, they were all inspired by them Italian gangster movies. Even though Scarface was Cubans, Scarface was one. And then you had The Godfather and Casino and all that other stuff. Hip hop was all caught up in that. So yeah, Dawn came out and said what she said and made her accusations, and now we have Aubrey O'Day came and spoke out. And I know a lot of people are wondering, why haven't we heard from Cassie? I believe per the agreement, she cannot come out and speak about, she can't mention Diddy's name, she can't speak on him. I'm sure that she could speak to the any of the district attorneys or anybody that's trying this case. But as far as like getting out there at a podium like she Justin Timberlake trying to half-ass apologize for, driving while drunk, she ain't gonna do no, she can't get on no podium and do that because that's gonna mess up the agreement. So she can't say nothing. But why does she need to say something? We already know, like, based off of what she said, the video evidence and all other stuff, she's been vindicated. And he going under the jail. Diddy, you are done. And thank the Lord. You know, I never want to sit and clap and salivate and enjoy and have a moment over somebody's misery. But this man is evil, the personification of it. So for him to get what's coming to him is a long time coming, and I'm glad it's coming. And I still don't understand people out here who's going to windmill for him and still defend him and try to victim blame all the people that didn't come forward. It's like maybe a lot of y'all got short-term memory, maybe y'all got early case of dementia, or maybe a lot of y'all just wasn't aware of how the hip-hop community worked back in the day. But when Diddy was that boy and he was running New York and he was running hip hop and he was influential on the radio stations, MTV and all that other stuff, BET, you couldn't be running down here trying to take him down, especially when these moguls and stuff were making money off of him. Particularly when in Dawn's lawsuit, she came out and said that Diddy assaulted physically Cassie in front of Usher. So cool as Neo. I can't stand that queen. And I bet you he in a damn freak off too. I wouldn't be surprised if Usher's in that too. And allegedly. And Jimmy Iovine, who had a lot of money on Diddy at the time. I believe that was around the time they was Diddy Dirty Money. So, you know, with him being on the Interscope and all that other stuff. So let's get to what Aubrey had to say. So she basically posted something yesterday at 11:18 p.m. So this is shortly after everything came out. She said the purpose of justice is to provide an ending and allow us the space. Hold on, let me pull it up for y'all so y'all can see it. She said the purpose of justice is to provide an ending and allow us the space to create a new chapter. Women never get this. I feel validated. Today is a win for women all over the world, not just me. Things are finally changing. So I'm really hoping what happens with this is that Aubrey will find the courage to really go. And I mean, she's always gone in and let have on the diddler throughout her music career. She has never bit her tongue in regards to talking about him. And people called her a liar. People called her opportunity. Oh, that white woman trying to take Diddy down. Okay. It was so what that got to do with all these other people? And I'm tired of y'all using that narrative of, oh, everybody trying to take a black man down. Let's remove that from the equation. Everything ain't always about trying to take a black man down. We need to learn that I'm sorry, 2024 has become the year of accountability. And a lot of people who've been getting away with a lot of mess, the chickens have come home to roost for a lot of them. So it ain't about trying to take a black man down. If these black men were doing right by the community, if these black men were doing right by the people that work for them, if these black men were doing right by the women that they were in relationships with, if he was forthcoming in regards to his sexcapades and not using and abusing his power to get what he wants out of people because of, if I could just take that. That was literal on his part. Who knew? He just wanted to take whatever the fuck he wanted without any kind of consequence. And I still believe in his heart of hearts, he thinks he's innocent. He really thinks that he's innocent and that he hasn't done anything wrong. Sir, they got your behind. You going to jail. Well, you already in jail, but you going to jail for a long time. You're going to be in there right next to R. Kelly. So let me see. Is there any more to add to this whole situation? So, we have, there's been a couple of people, and then we'll wrap this up because I know I've spent quite a bit on this. But look, this is an ongoing story, so we got to break it on down and sometimes y'all need a reminder. So, yeah, we have a couple of people that made claims. A woman said that Combs SA'd her 2 decades ago when she was 17. That was the one that was, I guess, trafficked over state lines, meaning that she was in one state. They got her on a private plane and she was at Daddy's house. And that's when he assaulted her. She had the photos of her in Daddy's house at the time. Then a music producer sued, saying Combs forced him to have, sexual relations with prostitutes. Another woman, April Lampros, said Combs subjected her to terrifying sexual encounters, starting when she was a college student in 94. So, yeah, it goes further back than the 15 years that they just calculated back in 2009. This goes back as far as the 90s, way before people even knew the hell Puffy was. And then we had recently, Dawn Richard said that he groped her and threatened her when she worked for him from 2005 to 2012. And let's not forget, like I said before, the man that's got $100 million, the $100 million settlement. But so we can wrap this up. Let's get to what the people said, because we always got to get the comments. We live for comments on this channel. So here's what some of the people said on social media. One person said that must be one hell of a case the FBI has on Diddy. Another one said he will fit in just fine in prison. He gonna love it there. Another person said, well, maybe now he will be forced to tell about what he knows of the Tupac and Biggie murders. What, you mean allegedly that he was a part of it and he did it? He'll go to his grave on that one. He ain't gonna have a Keefy D moment and come in and confess. They said, another person said, not today. P. Diddy did La Puffy Combs. Another person said they're about to clone Diddy. I don't know what that means. Why would they want to clone him? We don't need two of him. One is enough. Another person said maybe he and R. Kelly can duet. Okay, take that. Part 2. And what? Oh, and so last and certainly not least, another person said he might be a terrible person, but he also has so many catchy songs, which is what really matters. Yeah, get off my line with that. They said the same thing about R. Kelly. Oh well, he may be a terrible person, but he has so many catchy songs. Well, two things can be true at the same time. You can have somebody that is immensely talented, has a lot of great songs that we all grew up on and had it indoctrinated in our situation, but could also be a terrible human being behind the scenes. And this goes to show you that you really don't know a person like you think you do. So I say all this to say this is going to be ongoing. There's going to be a lot of tea that's going to be coming out about this whole situation. And I will be following this story. Excuse me. I told you I'm not feeling well today, but I'm trucking on with this show. So I told them, say, what do y'all think of this story? Like I said, there's gonna be more coming out throughout the situation. I probably will be making like short little videos that'll be updating and stuff if it's not live or whatever. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Now, let me also go on the Googler and see if there's any latest news on him. Oh, so it says 5 minutes ago. According to AP News, because they got it. Hold on. So it says that he pled not guilty. Well, what's his name? His attorney actually said that's what was going to happen, that he was going to plead not guilty. Child, if they got all this evidence on you, why the hell are you still pleading? I just think that man is such a damn narcissist. He really do not believe what he's done is wrong, especially when you've gotten away with it for so long. So let's see. Oh, so yeah, they said, because I don't want to have to sit here and try to read everything, regurgitate what was already said. So AP, Associated Press, basically said that he presided over a sordid empire of sexual crimes, coercing and abusing women for years while using blackmail and shocking acts of violence. Federal prosecutors called Combs dangerous and urged that he be jailed without bail. And I agree with that. Leave his ass behind the damn jail or under it. Because I feel like y'all let him out, he's gonna be, well, I guess maybe y'all need to also seize his passports or whatever, so he don't try to escape and pull a Roman Polanski. So they said the music mogul pleaded not guilty, standing to speak after listening to the allegations while showing little reaction, his uncuffed hands folded in his lap. They said Mr. Combs physically and S-aid victims for decades. He used the vast resources of his company to facilitate his abuse and cover up his crimes. Simply put, he is a serial abuser and a serial obstructor. Didn't I say, oh, that's what he was? But that's just basically off of analyzing the situation. And this is what Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson told the court. She also said he had extensive and exhaustive history of obstruction of justice, including alleged bribery and witness intimidation. His lawyers, meanwhile, proposed that he be released on a $50 million bond to home detention with electronic monitoring. I don't think so. Leave his ass in jail. And this is like why I feel like this irritates me just as much as it irritates me that Donald Trump ass need to be behind bars too. Because I don't understand all them damn felony charges he has, how he's still able to run for president and run around America like he's just nothing, and inciting someone possibly unalive, the person, his opponent running for president. So they say he is not a perfect person. There has been drug use. He has been in toxic relationship. Yeah, started by him. He's been in a toxic relationship. He's the one that's been the toxic part of the relationship, based over what we've seen and what we read. And this is what his attorney, Mark Agnifilo, Agnifilo told the court. But we already know what lawyers do. They're there to defend you because that's what their job. Even if they know you're guilty, the job is to get you off, is to prove without a reasonable doubt that you're innocent, whatever. But the evidence, they said they got all the evidence, and Diddy's stupid because he saved it. So now they could use that against him in the court of law. So they said the lawyer said Combs was receiving treatment and therapy for things that he needed treatment and therapy for. You mean after when he assaulted Cassie and got busted, and then he went and did that little half-ass, corny-ass video that he put up, and then removed it after a while, scrubbed his Instagram clean? So he also said Agnifilo had said outside the court earlier that Combs is innocent and came to New York voluntarily to engage the court system and start the case. Now, they also, it goes into the whole thing of like what, all the things he did. We already regurgitated that. Or talked about it. I don't want to regurgitate it again. So if y'all just now chiming in to the show, popping into the show, you can rewind it and get all the information. But I say all this to say, like I said, that was the latest. That literally just came out 5 minutes ago because he went before a judge and that sort of thing. I hope so. That's why I think that's what Felix was talking about with the $50 million situation. So there you have it. So now let's go to the comments and then we'll get to the rest of the show. They said if Austin Wolf can't post bail, I'm sorry, Sean shouldn't either. Exactly. And Austin Wolf, he may not be, he may not be as popular or popping, I was going to say as popping, as Diddy, but he is like one of the biggest names in adult male cinematography, same-sex adult male cinematography. So yeah, if he was out here doing the things that he was accused of doing, being a pedophile and abusing people in his videos and things of that nature and selling things on the dark web, and he had all this evidence that they have against him, then yeah, Diddy, just because of who he is, he should not be out of jail. He needs to be under the jail. And I wish that they would treat everybody the same way instead of, oh, because so-and-so is famous and this person is on this level of fame and that person is on this level of fame, that we just look the other way. He was also trouble. It definitely is. Maybe that's what, two peas in a pod, birds of a feather flock together. Maybe that's what one of them taught the other. Just one of them just happened to get caught. He said he should have just been a court. So, okay, well, word on the street was all them damn drugs he was using, he couldn't work the middle because his ding-a-ling didn't work. And all them drugs, it's like the equivalent of whiskey dick. When you drink too much whiskey, your shit can't get hard. So with them freakos, he probably was taking like Viagra and all other stuff, and then they was talking about that pink cocaine, which I saw that he was using. Remember when Carisha was allegedly accused of pushing that, and the pink cocaine, that's like big in the clubs now. I've been hearing about this lately that a lot of people using that, and it's like, y'all literally out here trying to kill yourself, especially the stuff they put in it. It's got fentanyl in it, it's got ketamine in it, it's got so it's got like an upper and a downer, and then also the all these other things. So it got everything but cocaine, from what I was watching in the video from ABC. And then it said, like, on top of that, people would drink alcohol after doing it. So they said it feels like, and that's why I was like, you ain't gonna see me trying that. They said it feels literally like somebody is ripping your body in two different directions. I don't see the fun in that, in having that feeling. So Charlie Puth is now married. Good for her. They said Diddy is like R. Kelly, where he thought he was exactly, and that's that's the main thing about a grade A narcissist. A lot of them feel like that they could just keep doing whatever they want. Oh, I'm gonna stop. And then it's like it's that addiction, it's that rush, it's that need to just keep catching that high or whatever the case is. And then by the time you realize and you really trying to get your shit together, it's too late. But I don't think Diddy ever had any intention of ever getting better or dealing with his issues. I just want to know where all this, what is the root of all this? I just want to know the root. Because everybody gets, we all get all caught up in the sensationalism of this situation, of this story. But I've always wanted to do like a deep dive. I was like, what happened to the diddler as a child? That Janice, what you do to your son, or who you let touch your child? That he's in this situation where he's learned all this stuff and has put it on other people. Because I don't think somebody just wakes up in the morning feeling like P Diddy. Shout out to Gasho who did change the lyrics. I don't think people wake up in the morning and just be like, you know what? I feel like just smacking somebody today. Or maybe some of y'all do. Maybe some of you half crazy need to take y'all meds, motherfuckers, do that. But for the most part, I just don't understand people who get up and wake up and have that whole situation like, I'm just dig in the deepest, craziest, most sinister part of your mind just to get off sexually. Like, that has to come from somewhere. But then again, Jeffrey Dahmer did wake up one morning and was like killing animals before he started going around cutting up and eating the gays of color. Honest is in the middle saying hello. Some people are so famous as they forget they're real human beings and still get treated like everyone else. I always thought Diddy capitalized off of Biggie's past. Oh, please. There was a lot of people that felt that, including myself. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had something to do with it. Diddy always wanted to be that big famous, superstar type, but like I've always stated, Diddy is not talented he's not a talent. He's someone who should just stay behind the scenes and produce, but he wanted to be on camera. When you get these people with egos, that's what they want. We said because there are a lot of dirty doctors and cops. Yeah, they're all paid off because, like, I guess their little salary ain't enough. Mayor Adams going through things. Okay, yeah, I heard about the tea with him. His ass need to go down too. I can't wait to vote his ass out. Horrible mayor. But I'm trying to think in my lifetime, have we ever had a good one? I couldn't stand Giuliani. I didn't really particularly care for Bloomberg. Um, he was whatever. Especially when he bought his third damn election, being a billionaire. I really did not particularly feel any kind of ways for De Blasio, or we used to call him the blah blah. And don't even get me started on Mayor Adams. I always say to this day, Maya Wiley should have won. But I hope people wake up this time. And so Aubrey has been speaking about him for over 10 years. Yes, she has, and she hasn't shut up. But of course, somebody want to believe her. Oh, it's Sour Grace. Oh, it's a white girl trying to take a black man down. But what all these people is like, okay, so at what point are we going to actually stop covering, especially in the black community, abuse when it comes to women? Abuse. We will sit and we'll prop up Ray Ray getting out of jail for murder. But let your child be a homosexual or a trans person. That's the end all be all of the existence of people. Y'all want them dead in the damn street, or you want to disown them because you're worrying about what people, your friends, your church people, all these other people think. Fuck who them people think. They ain't paying your bills. But y'all be out here just propping the worst of the worst on a pedestal. For what? Why are we protecting Diddy? What he gonna do? He gonna cut you a check? This case will go on at least again. Well, you know what? Especially because it was like 6 months ago when all this other stuff came out. So now 6 months later, we're getting the latest. I just saw on the Brat remix album, Madonna is on Club Classics. Oh, is she? Because I don't know. She wasn't releasing was she releasing the list, the set list? I mean, not the set list, the song list, because I haven't heard anything in regards of um her doing that. That must have been recent. They said, oh, you said that was a lie. Mew Mews had to go to Atlantic to debunk it. It's not coming out till October 11th. And October 4th is when they plan to reveal the full track list. Okay. So it said people said it was debunked by the So I remix with Sophie. Oh, yeah, that was the thing that was going on. I think Sophie's birthday, I think was yesterday. So they did like a little thing on Google. I didn't even know she was a Virgo. But I shouldn't be surprised. They said, but it was made by a Brazilian band. I give Twitter credit. The community notes. Excuse me. And Diddy is probably going to snitch on people too. Let's hope Jay-Z or any of the other guys in the Black Billionaire Club don't give. Okay. Quiet as it's kept. I wouldn't be surprised if Jay-Z is a part of it. And Beyonce's aware. But we'll see. But anyway, speaking of assaults and things, we're going to go from Diddy and all of his high crimes and misdemeanors. And let's talk about Abercrombie and Fitch. That's hot ass fashion brand. Who don't see it for us. All they saw for was these little skinny, long torso white boys, the Jacob Elordi types. Jacob Elordi would have been perfect for some damn Abercrombie and Fitch, but child, with all the tea coming out about them, yeah, with all the mess coming out about Abercrombie and Fitch, it's probably a good thing that he wasn't old enough to be a model with them. So we had talked about Abercrombie and Fitch before, and now more models have come out, to the BBC accusing the former chief executive of A&F and his British partner of sexual exploitation. Some alleged they were abused, and some said that they were injected with drugs. Now, Radar Online, has revealed that 8 more men have given accounts of their experience at the debauched bashes, some claiming that they were injected with liquid Viagra, sparking one abuse survivor to have an allergic reaction. And now here's the thing. When he was talking about, like, Diddy had dead dick, going on for that, I would be surprised if he was shooting himself up with liquid Viagra. And funny enough, I know a lot of adult male models tend to use that. I forget what it's called. First of all, I'm not sticking no needle near my penis. I don't even like needles in my arm when they're trying to draw blood. So what makes you think, or that's why I was like, I would never do heroin. I would never do any of that stuff. So can you imagine somebody shooting a needle in your peen just so that way you can get hard? Can I just take a half a pill or something? But then again, you being that young, y'all shouldn't be on them drugs. But I know, like, when you do a lot of sex work, you're not going to be able to maintain an erection all the time. So they said they spoke out on the back of the BBC documentary last September, which exposed the sex parties curated for the entertainment of Jeffries, the former CEO of the clothing brand, and his life partner, Smith. So they pretty much had an open relationship. The pair, who was aged 80 and 61 respectively, deny any wrongdoing, and clothing brand A&F denies knowledge of their existence, but does claim to be investigating. Now, 2 new episodes of the BBC's World of Secrets podcast, which first revealed the allegations alongside the Panorama documentary, features the accounts of several men who say they were molested at sex events held at grand hotel rooms in New York and across the globe. Child, now you know what? There's too much drama and stuff going on in these New York hotel rooms. I tell you, if them walls could talk, they'd probably be millionaires at this point. Now, one man, given the name Luke to protect his identity, claimed he was recruited from a modeling website and guided into a hotel suite in Spain and had been dressed up to resemble an Abercrombie & Fitch store in a twisted role-play scenario. He then alleged that he was encouraged to pose as one of the store's infamous shirtless greeters to impress 2 very important guests, Jeffries and Smith, who then kissed him and tried to perform oral sex on him. Luke said, I was trying to avoid the whole situation as much as I could, but Michael was very aggressive. I tried to say no repeatedly. I constantly was saying no. His travel and accommodation was paid for, and he was given £3,500 in cash and made to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Another guest named Chris claimed that he was injected in the genitalia with what he was told was liquid Viagra by one of Jeffrey's assistants who was not medically trained. Now, what if he would have hit something and all of a sudden that boy ding-a-ling would have been effed up for the rest of his life? So now you got people out here shooting you up in your meat popsicle, and this is what you got to deal with? And then on top of that, child, quiet as it's kept, they say a lot of these modeling agencies are fronts for, like, prostitution. That'd be the word on the curb. That a lot of these models out here, and ain't just the men, it's the women too. Moonlighting as hookers. Child, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how Dawn Singing met Melania. Anyway, so let's move on. As Don said, he felt hot and dizzy as a result after he was allegedly injected in a Manhattan townhouse that once belonged to the fashion boss. However, he claimed nobody called an ambulance and said Jeffries and Smith are alleged to have tried to sleep with him. Former model Keith Milkey, who's 31, was aware that the parties would be sexual, unlike a number of his acquaintances. But he was not informed at what they would involve, and he was uncomfortable about what he was later tasked with. But here's the thing. If you was aware, and I'm not trying to victim shame, but this is me playing devil's advocate. If you was aware of what was going on at this place, unlike some of your other acquaintances, but you're saying you didn't know what exactly they were expecting. Well, that would be any kind of scenario you're going through. But then again, with people being young, and a lot of these models probably being from like corn-fed towns where a lot of these young boys is naive. And I even think city boys can be naive in that way too. But when you pick like a lot of these typical type of white boys that you know that they go for, these country corn-fed types, where they getting plucked out of from obscurity, and then they're placed into these agencies. They're like, oh, I know there's gonna be something, but I know to the point of what was. Now I might have to put a little meat in my mouth or whatever the case is and give a little bologna wash. But now you want me to put digits in things and put penises and things, and it's like, I don't want to do that. Excuse me. They said the dean on one occasion in Paris, he claimed that he was told by Jeffries to sleep with another man despite identifying as straight. He explains this is the exploitation of straight men. They don't want gays. They want straight men that they could sort of coerce. It makes it more fantastical. And this is the situation that I be talking about, especially when you get a lot of these gays, these self-hating homosexuals who sit and run around and, oh, I don't want the gay ones because I know that that's how they get down. So it's not going to make the fantasy any more exciting for me. I actually get off on guys who won't have sex with men that I can go and turn them out. I hate this whole idea of like turning people or whatever, because that feeds into this thing that, oh yeah, what the bigoted straight people be saying. But when you get sick mother flowers like this heifer with that jacked up face and them fake teeth in his mouth on the right, these are the people part of the community that I can't stand, because then y'all make it look bad for the rest of us. And those of us who live our best life and are proud of who we are and stand 10 toes down in our homosexuality. But then you get these men in these powerful positions that it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna use my power to abuse you. They ain't got nothing, So yeah, it comes around in all ways. You were just using your power to abuse these men, mentally and sexually. So they said the events are believed to have taken place from 2009 to 2015, shortly after Jeffries quit A&F amid growth criticism on the way he was running the firm. Now, in January, the FBI confirmed it had opened a criminal investigation into the BBC's allegations. So with the BBC exploiting all of this and letting us know what's going on with everything, I hope this another one that end up under the damn jail. Because he's a hot ass mess. And this is unfortunate that, you get so many young people out here who just want the dream of, I want to be a model, I want to be an actor, I want to be a singer, or any aspect of being in front of a camera in entertainment industry. And these people who are in these powerful positions, especially when you get a lot of these self-hating older gay men who have a lot of money, who have a lot of power, who have a lot of influence, and they take advantage of these young kids who just have a dream to be able to get out of whatever situation they're in, whether they live in poverty, whether they live in a single parent household, they just want to take care of themselves and their mom, who's working multiple jobs just to keep food on the table and the lights on. And then here you heifers go taking advantage of these poor boys. So I hope, I'll be following this story, and I hope that they take their ass to the cleaners like they about to take Diddy. He ain't gonna have shit left by the time they clear him out. And these Abercrombie and Fitch. And you want to know something? For them being so damn racist, this is the hell what y'all get. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have some comments. Let's get to them. They said they better get ready. Okay. And so they talked about the racism and coming exactly. So it's like with them being all racist and on the other side, I hope they get what's coming to them. It says the injection they use is called, oh yeah, Trimix. Thank you, because I couldn't remember the name of it, and I was like, I know a lot of adult porn, adult models tend to use that, especially in the gay community. They shoot themselves up with Trimix to keep them away. I remember there wasn't there a story where it was like I forget his last name, but there was this adult um model that did a film for Michael Lucas and said that that's what Michael Lucas did to him, that he shot him up with Trimix to keep him, erect. And there was some other kind of craziness was going on, another vile human damn being. And they said with the name Trimix, it sounded more like a knockoff. You know what I was thinking? Trimix sound like some old, it actually sounded like a little snack that you eat, kind of like Chex Mix. That's what that reminded me of. And also in the Netflix anime, they did talk about sexual harassment. Yeah, there was one that was on Netflix, and now BBC is breaking down a lot more. So I do remember the first one. Are you saying Trim X? Yeah, I know a lot of the models use it. So it's like, it's not only just the gays, but I just know, like, because, what type of show this is, I would just focus it on them. But yeah, the gays and the gays, the straights, bisexuals, transsexuals, we're here. All of them use it. So, this was saying trail mix, Chex Mix, trail mix, all of that stuff. I like Chex Mix. I actually like Chex because it's like, that's to get like the little mix of snacks and things. But let me get off food. Okay, y'all. So let's lighten up the mood. Well, let's talk about Beau DeMayo. So, with all the drama that's going on with Beau DeMayo and the whole X-Men thing, we can put that behind us. He went and on OnlyFans and told what's going on with the whole situation. But now he's spilling tea about this whole situation going on with his Blade script that he was working on. Because remember, at one point, he was one of the writers that was working on a Blade draft. And we still waiting on this damn movie to come out. I don't know what's going on. But from what I've heard, that Kevin Feige has finally settled on a script idea or whatever the case is that he likes, and they're working on it. I don't know how far they got in the script. I don't know if it's done. I haven't heard anything, but I do have this tea about Beau DeMayo, and I have to say, his idea, I like it. But I also feel that there's parts of this idea that I said this was the direction they should go into when I first started hearing rumors about a Blade reboot. But anyway, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it, but let's get into what in a second. But let's get on what he said. So, Beau DeMayo, former showrunner of the Disney Plus animated series X-Men '97, is spilling tea on the script he worked on for Marvel Studios' troubled Blade reboot. Now, shout out to Dark Horizons for this, because I also happen to see this floating online. So it said Blade had been in development for years and has seen a half dozen writers come and go, including the likes of Michael Green, who was behind Logan, Nick Pizzolatto, who was behind True Detective, Stacey Osei Kofer, who was behind HBO's Watchmen, and Michael Starbury, the inevitable defeat of Mr. and Pete. Oh, I remember that. At last report, Eric Pearson is penning the latest draft, and the studio seems to have finally come up with a script they're happy with. For a while there, though, they appeared to be floundering. Now, in new postings on Twitter, DeMayo confirms that that's the case, and says he's wondered why it has been so difficult for the studio to come up with a compelling premise. So he basically said from his idea that he was working, he said, take a John Wick movie, give mobsters fangs, swap Keanu for Ali, hand him a sword, not a daughter who makes him fret over swinging the hero's name. Wick costs $20 million to make and $10 million for a vampire dark hole magic VFX. You have a $30 to $40 million Marvel movie. I don't get why it's been so hard. Studio's broken. He also adds that in the 3 months on the project, he wrote 3 drafts and a dozen outlines for it. He also said he did a deep dive on Twitter going into the best ideas he came up with and said, my favorite was the raid style treatment where Blade finds himself defending a rundown tenement of humans for Varney's Vamp hordes until daylight. Well, here's the thing. I actually like that idea because I was like, you know what? That kind of reminds me of like The Raid, a little bit of, what was the other movie? Dread, I'm still pissed off to this day that movie flopped at the box office because that kind of came out around the same time as The Raid. It was coincidental that, the story surrounding that or the plot, but Carl Urban's Dread was such a good freaking movie, and I'm so mad to this day we have not gotten a sequel. That's one of my favorite action films, and I revisit that movie literally like every year. Speaking of which, I might actually end up watching it this week. And I love Lena Headey as Mama. But it also kind of was like, you know what? It reminds me of like Wreck. I'm not doing Quarantine because Quarantine basically was a shot-by-shot remake of Wreck. The Spanish movie where it was like the people were stuck inside the apartment complex and it was like a zombie or whatever they had locked up and it bit somebody and then all hell broke loose. Like, I kind of like that idea. Now, he also said that it took place over one night. Blade learns from tenement Jericho Drum that Varney's attacking because the female tenant who Blade sort of fancies has been magically impregnated with Lilith by tenants who are secretly Darkhold cultists. Think 30 Days a Night meets Rosemary's Baby. Now, here's the thing. There was one thing I feel like, yeah, with this film, I would have loved, like, keep it simple. Blade coming to pay a visit to some, he's out killing vampires, whatever. He comes to visit a girl that he fancies in a building. He's got his gear and all the other stuff, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and he's trapped in the building, and he's trying to fight his way, till daylight, trying to take out all these vampires. That would have been perfect, and then also having some of the tenements of the building basically helping him, battle who he needs to battle. Some gonna survive, some may not, but that what makes the franchise be able to be cool or whatever. And I do feel like they should have kept it simple. You could definitely make a Blade movie on a $40 to $50 million budget, especially because technology has come such a long way from the original movie. If you're gonna shoot up vampires and then basically have them turn to dust, the effects and stuff now is so cool. You really don't have to spend a whole lot of money on, that type of effect. You really don't need a whole lot. Just ground it, keep it simple, and then as the sequels progress, then you can get a little more complex with the story and take a deeper dive or whatever. But I feel like bring the original movie, keep it simple, and that sort of thing. So I like the idea. The idea I don't like is the Darkhold one with the Rosemary's Baby type of twist. I don't like the whole, supernatural baby thingy. We've seen that a million times. I just don't like that angle. But if you would have kept it simple in regards of like, a vampire hunter killing vampires in a tenement building and then trying to basically, it's just like a one night situation, like very much 30 Days a Night. I think that concept would have been cool and make the vampires extremely vicious, very much like the 30 Days a Night vampires, because we haven't really gotten any good vampires on screen, in my opinion. Or maybe if y'all can think of some that are far more vicious than the vampires that we saw in 30 Days a Night, definitely let me know down in the comments. But so far, those type of vampires have always been my all-time favorite. I'm not even going to bring up Twilight because you know what that gave. And then True Blood was cute or whatever, but it got a little stale after like season 3-ish. And then as it was going on, it sort of, I like the first 2 seasons. Once it started getting around season 3 and then beyond, it got ridiculous. But I love the first 2 seasons of True Blood. Vampire Diaries, you already know that what that gave. That's CW. So I don't like when my vampires are just like cute, cuddly little Furbies. Like, I don't need Gizmo with vampires. Like, I don't need that. I don't need cute and fuzzy. I need vicious and dangerous and scary and all that other stuff. So I really hope that they get it together. Now, regardless of the story, like I said, I liked the idea behind this. And so far, we have no idea if Mahershala Ali is still a part of this franchise. I hope he is. But look, he ain't getting any younger. And I know we've been talking about Wesley Snipes and everything and him coming back and giving him an old man Logan style send off. Because look, after Blade Trinity, I do feel like we need to give him one more go at Blade and then send him off. And then we could do a whole new vampire situation. But I was thinking about this. If Mahershala Ali is like, okay, I'm sick and tired of this BS, y'all still stringing me along. I love the, and another thing I did say before I get to who I think should replace Mahershala, I've been saying for the longest, with the way that action movies have been now, The Raid is like one of my all-time favorite movies. That and the sequel. I love the first 2 Raid movies. I wish we were still getting a third one, but we not. I don't know what's going on with that. But I love the original Raid. I love the sequel. And then I said on top of that, the whole John Wick. So I always said, like, y'all need to incorporate that fight style. It's very vicious. It's brutal. It's animalistic. It's just like, pick up whatever you can and just fuck everybody up. That's my type of fights. Type of stuff. Like, I love Indonesian style martial arts, the Salat and all that other mess. I like, well, not mess, you know what I mean. And I love, I love Blade. Not Blade. Of course I love Blade. I love John Wick. I'm still waiting on this ballerina trailer, which Ana de Armas said that she's really proud of this film, and she said the trailer's gonna be coming out very soon. She did an interview with Sydney Sweeney, and they were asking her about the movie. I think they're in a movie together. I'm not sure, but that would be the only reason why I would see those two ladies together. But she's talking about that she's excited for everybody to see this new film, and I'm definitely looking forward to Ballerina because I love me some Ana de Armas. She was the best part of that last James Bond movie. So to wrap this up, they said that, Mahershala and Mia Goth are still attached. I know Mahershala is currently working on the new Jurassic World movie. I don't know what Mia Goth is up to. I do know that Maxine you can rent it or buy it over on Prime Video. So I don't know what she's up. I don't know if she's acting or working on a movie or whatever. We don't have a new director. They said that locations in Mexico and the UK and Atlanta are expected to be utilized for the shoot. So he's gonna be traveling. Blade gonna be moving around, and I do think $40 to $60 million sounds like a reasonable price. The problem with Marvel, y'all think that every budget needs to be $200 million. We don't need a big balloon budget for certain films. There's certain movies you can make for cheap and still give quality. We've seen a lot of quality films that look expensive as hell that have come out that you don't need to spend a whole lot of money on. I'm trying to think. What was Alien Romulus. I heard that movie cost $80 million to make. Look how expensive that film looks. Fede Alvarez really knew how to, pinch every damn penny. That movie looks like it was at least a $200 million budget. It was $80 million. Also, the director of The Creator, Gareth Edwards. Movie looked phenomenal, beautifully shot. Cheap film. I believe that was like a $60 million budget. So you don't really need to spend a whole lot of money to make a movie look good. Even what was the movie that just came out? Civil War. That I think that's now on HBO Max. That movie wasn't expensive to make. It looks expensive. So to wrap this story up, my choice, if Mahershala Ali decided to step down and y'all need to pick somebody, I don't know if you saw this movie on Netflix called Rebel Ridge. But Aaron Pierre, who is that? Number one, I was like, okay, first of all, he has such a beautifully chiseled face. The eyes was eyesing. The eyes was eyeing. He has beautiful eyes. I don't know if they were like green or hazel. It was giving Vanessa Williams tease. But it's like, I was like, he'd make a perfect Blade. He's very good looking. And he was a standout actor. Even though the film wasn't perfect, it was very entertaining. And I think like he's the next big thing that we need to be looking out for in regards to like the whole action space. And he definitely was throwing it down when it came to the action sequences that he was doing in that movie. So if anything goes and happens and y'all and Mahershala Ali decide to step down tomorrow, I say Aaron Pierre, you need to give him a call and get him up there to be the next Blade. So I say all this to say, what do you think of this story? Do you actually like this angle that he was taking, that Beau DeMayo was taking? I like the whole, contained in one setting situation and just building up on these characters and all the other stuff. Shit, maybe I need to write that damn script and turn it into my own little thing. Whatever your thoughts are, and just give it a whole new kind of character. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. And they said maybe he could write the video game Blade. Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. He got his issues with Diddy. He got his issues with Marvel and all other stuff. So I don't even know if they'd even want to do business with him after all of this. I don't know. But look, they've done business with worse. Remember, at one point they fired James Gunn, and then after the outcry of the audience, they hired him back because of some old stuff that came out back in the day. They wanted to punish him on. I think they need to hire unknowns who isn't afraid of making $6K or $12K. Part of the problem is the actors they hire have huge price tags, and that makes the budget go up. Tell Ryan and Hugh and all. Well, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and all of them, they wasn't making that kind of money when they first started out. The more successful you get, you can ask for all that money. My thing is, I just hope when they reboot X-Men that y'all don't make that same mistake that y'all made with the original films. Let's not center it on Wolverine. Wolverine is not the main character. I don't know if there was some type of sexual stuff going on behind the scenes where Hugh Jackman was getting to the front of the line, but X-Men is an ensemble. It's not about one specific character. So I hope they rectify all of that when they reboot the franchise and make it a collective and not just about, Scott and Jean and Wolverine and their love triangle and everybody else. Everybody else gets sidelined, including Jubilee. Justice for Jubilee. It's like the only time Jubilee get any kind of attention is in X-Men 97. She got to do more there than I've ever seen in any of the Bryan Singer films. And she's just been, she's just a bona fide cameo at that point. She, see a girl in class with a yellow coat on, and that's it. The hell was that? So he said, those that make comedies go romantic. Kellen Lutz wants to do action films, but because his price isn't 25 million and 50 billion, they're not wanting to take a chance. Well, look, I guess at this point, what Kellen Lutz could probably do is go the oh my God, what the hell's his name? I guess maybe he can go straight to cable, straight to, do that sort of thing and play in that wheelhouse. I know those movies aren't that great, but look, we got Scott Adkins. That's what I was thinking of. It's like, go the Scott Adkins route, go the Michael Jai White route. Like, those are a lot of people that do a lot of those really crappy action films, but they get to highlight and showcase their thing. And I do wish that they would kind of prop Kellen Lutz up to be an action movie star. He definitely has what it takes. He has the physical ability to do all that stuff. But, now it's all about Alan Ritchson, who I do like, by the way, and I've heard he's a nice guy. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Jane's Addiction, who the lead singer, Perry Farrell, is speaking out regarding, the onstage brawl with guitarist Dave Navarro that has led to Jane's Addiction canceling the rest of the tour. So we did talk about, with the whole situation where there was a fight that broke out on during their show in Boston. I believe it was Friday 13th. You see, it's that damn Friday 13th. I do believe that day is cursed. It's funny because I never realized this, but it was like, if you start from July, August, September, October, November, they said that the first letter of that month is actually, it spells out Jason. I was like, y'all not gonna play in my face with that, because that is true. July is a J, August A, September S, October O, November N. I was like, did somebody actually come up with that, or was that a coincidence? I was trying to say it like Nene Lee, because she said, what a coincidence. Because she can't say coincidence. Just like she can't say, what was the other word? That she could have said, but anyway, it ain't about Nene. So let's pull up this article. So it says the incident went down, Friday during the Boston show. Now, Farrell said on Monday, he said, this weekend has been incredibly difficult. And after having the time and space to reflect, it's only right that I apologize to my bandmates, especially Dave Navarro, fans, family, and friends for my actions during Friday's show. He continued, unfortunately, my breaking point resulted in inexcusable behavior, and I take full accountability for how I chose to handle the situation. So yeah, I don't know if y'all seen it, but his wife put up the situation on Instagram, and there he go. He went over to I had to mute it because I was like, I don't want to put that music up in there. Yeah, he went up to Dave Navarro and literally started nudging him, and they had to restrain him. And it looked like at one point, you do say it looked like they was punching him, and Dave just walked away casually, took off his guitar, put it down, and walked away. And I know everybody was up in there stunned. Was he taking a knee? I think it was probably unplugging it or whatever. Oh wait, it's not plugged in. It's like, yeah, he was minding his business, and then here you go attacking him for no damn reason. He ain't do nothing to you. So we do have his statement. Let's get back to that. And he said that his wife has been his rock for over 2 decades and felt like she needed to defend him, which is why she put out her own statement on Instagram. But did it really feel like she was defending him when it seemed like that while she did defend him, it did feel like she was saying that, her husband wasn't that innocent in the situation as well, because she said, because this is a long one, she said, who won the fight? Let's get down to that. We don't need to break down the whole fight and what happened, because we did that in previous videos. But on her Instagram, she said, who won the fight? Why? Eric Avery, of course. While Dave was keeping Perry at arm's length to de-escalate the situation, Dan rushed over to de-escalate as well by holding Perry back. Dave walked away to take his guitar off, which we saw in the video. Eric walked up to Perry on stage in the dark behind Dan, put Perry in a headlock, and punched him in the stomach 3 times. Well, we did see that as well. Kevin, crew member with a long hair, pulled Eric away. Then Eric nonchalant walked off to the front of the stage to apologize to the audience for the show ending early. What was the aftermath? Now, Dave still looked handsome and cool in the middle of a fight. Perry was a crazed beast for the next half an hour. He finally did not calm down, but did break down and cried and cried. With a lonely heart thinking. And they said Eric, well, he either didn't understand what de-escalation meant or took advantage of the situation and got in a few cheap shots. I do believe that he wound up trying to act like he was going to go over there, because 2 things can be true at the same time. I feel like what he did, analyzing the situation, he went over to make it seem like he was going to de-escalate the situation, but that was his opportunity to get a couple of licks in because it was a bunch of people around him, and he probably thought like Perry was so heated that he wasn't going to know that he was the one punching him in the damn stomach. But the video caught it, and the wife broke it down and probably told him. They said, well, this is my first person account narrative of what happened. So that was, so we saw the video, and in that whole situation, the band has spoken out and said the following. Due to a continuing pattern of behavior and the mental health difficulties of our singer Perry Farrell, we have come to the conclusion that we have no choice but to discontinue the current U.S. tour. They decided to discontinue the tour, which we already knew about, but it goes on with the following. We deeply regret that we are not able to come through for all our fans who have already bought tickets. We can see no solution that would either ensure a safe environment on stage or reliably allow us to deliver a great performance on a nightly basis. Our concern for his personal health and safety, as well as our own, have left us no alternative. We hope that he will find the help he needs. Our hearts are broken. Dave, Eric, and Stephen. So that was them releasing the statement. And they all, they said they released separate statements, but collectively, they blamed Farrell for the altercation and the tour being canceled. So I still go on and say that with this whole situation, what should have happened was that if there was an audio issue, if there's an issue where you can't even hear your mic, the music is louder than you singing, which, from what I was hearing from people that actually went a while back to see them, that Perry just been in a hot, belligerent mess on stage. He's been downing bottles of wine in front of the audience. His voice wasn't, as strong as it was back in the day, that he was belligerent and rambling throughout the show. So he wasn't at his giving his best to these people that paid all this money, they hard-earned money to come see this band. And yeah, they may not have no hits, but these days, when you a veteran act, you don't need a damn hit. As long as you can get up on stage and give a show, that's all the people care about. Everything ain't about, how many hits do these people have, like a Sabrina Carpenter or a Chaperone or Madonna or Britney or whatever. Like, some people gotta get out of that pop music space. And I think, like, when it comes to rock, it's different. It ain't all about, like, oh, they only had, like, 1 hit, or they had no hit, or they had 5. As long as you can get up there and give a show, that's what people are going to see. And that's why they had to get out there. And especially because I think they don't even necessarily need to have a hit. Because remember, if you look at Jane's Addiction, the biggest person to come out of this band that was the most famous, and maybe this is what pissed Perry off, the fact that Dave Navarro is the biggest name, he was the one that was mostly the popular one from this band that everybody's aware of. Like, that was how I knew about Dave Navarro. I mean, he was always floating around to other bands and things and performing with other people. But for the most part, we knew Dave Navarro because he was married to Carmen Electra, and then he had a reality show. And then he was also, I believe, at one point, wasn't he a judge on one of those American Idol type shows? I know they were trying to do I think he was on that show, excuse me, if I remember correctly, when they were trying to create a rock band or something or another. I believe he was a judge on that. And then also, didn't he host a reality show competition series with tattoos? I used to watch that too. So Dave Navarro has, found ways to keep himself relevant outside of the music business. That's why he's the most famous one out of the group. And everybody knows who he is. But if the instruments are drowning out your voice, as I stated, what he should have done is basically, okay, that was a lot to get through those. It's like what he basically should have done was talk to the audio people, the audio engineers that were working, the sound design and doing all this stuff, and speak to them like, can y'all turn my mic up? The music is too loud. The audience can't hear me. That would have been corrected. Instead, you walk over and you try to take it out on Dave Navarro. What the hell he got to do with the fact that we can't hear your mic? He's not the one singing. It's you singing. So it was clearly something going on with him for a long period of time that he felt the need to take it out on the band member that was just festering. So let's just wrap this up because they said that they only played 17 shows before ending the tour. And they said there wasn't always tension between Farrell and Navarro. The frontman admitted to missing Navarro during the guitarist COVID battle, saying, I wish I would have my dear friend, my dear guitar player around. This is what he told the Post, in 2022. But I live to bring entertainment and art to the world, and whatever I can do to entertain you, to blow your mind, that's what I live for. The band filled Navarro's spot with several rockers, including Queen of the Stone Age guitarist Troy Van Leeuwen and Red Hot Chili Pepper guitarist Josh Klinghoffer. So, how do you go about finding a guitar player to fill the shoes of Dave Navarro? So, I don't know. I just feel like because Dave Navarro is such a popular name and so prominent with the band, there's no way that you could bring somebody else in there. So the best thing to do is to just cancel the concert. And I guess y'all gonna have to deal with the penalties and stuff of not fulfilling the rest of y'all contract, with Live Nation or whatever the case is. So I say all this to say, then you have the rest of the story. They canceled. Perry spoke out. The band basically gave their thoughts on the whole situation. But what are your thoughts? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. It said JD Vance's pressuring Daddy Peter to help put, not Daddy Peter. But it's like, why are you still trying to beg that, your butt buddy? Because I do believe that Peter Thiel is the bottom, is the top in that relationship. You out here begging for money, but you also out here trying to put targets on the Democrats' back in regards to this BS about somebody who was trying to unalive Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. The man was out there camped out for 12 hours. Trump was not even scheduled to be at the event, be at Mar-a-Lago, but all of a sudden he just appeared. Then they said there were shots fired. There was no shots fired. So when is the media actually going to break all this down and realize that there's something in the milk ain't clean? This man is lying, just like he lied about what happened in Pennsylvania. And then he wanted to get up, make sure he had that ketchup on his ear. And then he had to go, move, move, fight, fight, fight. Like all that bullshit. Like he Angela Davis. Like, get off my line with that mess. But anyway, let's move on to another rocker and let's talk about Dave Grohl, whose wife says she was shocked when she found out about this secret love child. So Dave Grohl's alleged flirtatious behavior towards other women was reportedly hurtful to his wife, Jordyn Blum, long before he secretly welcomed a baby with a mistress. Now, on Tuesday, September 10th, the Foo Fighters frontman 55 made the shocking revelation on Instagram, telling fans he's doing everything I can to regain the trust of Blum and their children. Grohl and Blum are parents of daughters Violet 18, Harper 15, and Ophelia 10. Well, now he got 4 and she got 3. So they said, according to a source close to Blum, the interior designer 48 has known for a while about Grohl's baby news. She was shocked when she found out about the baby. Her friends are like family, and they rallied around her. Over the years, Dave's flirty behavior has been a hurdle in the marriage. It's been hurtful to Jordyn. And I was like, well, she knew about it for a while, but I guess they had to come to a conclusion and figure out, okay, so when we going to speak out about what's going on and get ahead of it? Because you knew eventually it was going to get out to the press and they were going to go and reveal it. And then she's got to ready herself for that domino effect. So they said, over the years, Dave's flirty behavior had been a hurdle in their marriage. It's been hurtful to Jordyn. This is what a source close to Blum had to say. While Grohl's fans are shocked by his baby news, some in the couple circles weren't entirely surprised. They said, we keep reading over and over again how heartbroken everyone is because Dave was supposed to be the good guy. The rock star that didn't have to do those rock star things, says a source who knows the couple. And people are crazy about the guy, but there is a rock star side. Well, yeah, he kept it a secret for a long time, and I think he did have a lot of people fooled. But we did talk about on the show, like, how there have been people out there who have said that he has cheated on them over the years. When he was dating the girl from Farouk Assault, she revealed that he cheated on her with Winona Ryder. So this is not some new thing that Dave Grohl has been doing. He's just been good at keeping his secrets under wraps and doing that typical I'm pointing the finger at you when really the other four is pointing back at me by accusing you of trying to have flirtatious relationships with the tennis coach, which we talked about before. So Grohl and Blum, who have been married since 2003, also often felt like an opposites attract type of relationship. So, they did speak, try to get in contact with Grohl's rep, and they haven't come out and said anything as far as we know, but there have been pictures of him out there, making an appearance out in public for the first time since this stuff came out. So they said that, with all the drama that's going on between them both, they are prioritizing their children, and how the daughters have pretty much deactivated. I don't know if they've deactivated or they just kind of like, well, maybe I guess it is. They kind of took themselves off social media in a while because people gonna be up in the comments bullying them or whatever the case is. And this is the worst time because while Violet is of age, and I don't think she's in school or whatever, or maybe she's in college. I don't know what her status is in regards of school or whatever. But the messed up part about it is that the other two are young and they probably have to, deal with the whispers and the snickers and the staring and all that other stuff that's been going on with, their fellow classmates and people who just be looking at them when they walking down the hall in school or whatever. So they said that she is a great mother and dedicated to her daughter. So I feel like at this point she's just going to focus on, her kids. Is a divorce imminent between those two? I wouldn't be surprised if there was, but Dave, child, you got a lot of atoning to do. And I don't know, like if you go on tour or if you still on tour, I don't know what the status of the Foo Fighters tour is. I told you I worked it over the summer and it was a great show. There was 2 shows that they did as 2 stadium shows that they did in New York at Citi Field. So I will keep abreast of the stories as it develops, and I'm sure, like down the road or whatever, maybe if they are wrapped up with this tour, then you lucky that you ain't got to get on stage and address it in front of the audience and try to gain back the trust of your fans. And he does put on a great show. The band is amazing. So I definitely, like I said, I'll be keeping abreast of the story as it develops, but I do want to hear from you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story. You can do that by dropping it down in the comments down below. He said Dave looks good for his age. Yeah, he do. He looks good in person too. So, he definitely has been keeping it together. Keep it together. Keep it together forever and never. It said opposites attract are the best type of relationships. I always wanted to be someone's black cat. So they go the retriever. Now that's funny. Now, speaking of keep it together, keep it together forever and ever. Let's get into Madonna and her ex, her fellow silver sister, Jenny Shimizu, who was spilling tea. Now, first of all, I did not know that there was a Disney Plus documentary where, people were spilling tea and then Jenny Shimizu was a part of it. I think Tyson Beck was a part of it too, but I haven't even seen it. I didn't even know this thing was happening, but now that I know, I definitely will be watching. So, supermodel Jenny Shimizu was opening up about her past relationship with Madonna, revealing that she was hooking up with the Material Girl and Angelina Jolie at the same time. Yeah, she wasn't acting when she was playing Gia, honey. But let's continue. The model 57 has offered. Sorry, damn, she's 57. She look good. Has offered rare insight into her relationship with the singer who's 66 in the Disney Plus documentary In Vogue, the 90s. excuse me, which takes a look back at the stars that define an iconic decade in the magazine's history. In the sixth and final episode of the series, Jenny shared that she enjoyed a romance without finance with Madonna at the same time that she was dating Angelina Jolie, admitting that she would fly across Europe for late night liaisons with the star. The actress who was married to wife Michelle Harper in 2014, yeah, she is a straight, strict lesbian. So this wasn't like she dibble dabbling like Madonna and Angelina was. She fully liked the labia minora and the majora. So she added that on one occasion, she flew from Milan to Paris to spend the night with Madonna before jetting back to Italy for her next show. She said, I mean, you are not going to say no to Madonna in the 90s. Well, quiet as it's kept, you ain't going to say no to Madonna in the 2020s, too. Not only was it great feeling like a high class hooker, because it was, I would get a phone call saying, can you meet me at my show in Paris? You're in Europe, right? And I would be like, yeah, I'm just finishing Prada. I'll catch a plane over. And I would go to the Ritz at 4 in the morning and have sex and fly back to Milan. Jenny, who married her wife, Michelle Harper, in 2014, previously detailed her romance with Madonna in the 2023 memoir, writing that her relationship was driven by a deeper physical connection. I think they meant an emotional connection than physical, because that was the glitch in the Matrix when they was writing this article. She said at the time, it wasn't about an emotional bond. It was about taking each other to the heights of. Okay, so I don't know. They said it was driven by a deeper physical connection than physical. That doesn't make sense. But she said at the time, it wasn't about an emotional bond. It was about taking each other to the heights of sexual ecstasy. I love the fact that I was in this woman's beck and call. It turned me on, being ordered to her room whenever she felt like sex. The fashion star rose to prominence after being approached to model for Calvin Klein, and as well as being the first Asian model to walk for Prada. She was also the first minority model to open the show. At the same time she and Madonna were dating, Jenny also was involved with a romance with her Foxfire co-star, Angelina Jolie. Now, I do remember hearing the story about Jenny and Angelina during the Foxfire era. I do remember hearing that story. I'm glad you reminded me because I forgot. Angelina confirmed their romance herself in a 1997 interview, saying, I fell in love with her the first second I saw her. I would probably have married Jenny if I hadn't married my husband, Johnny Lee Miller, who you know was in a movie Hackers with her. Shout out to Matthew Lillard, because he was in that movie too. And Renoli Santiago. Yeah, I remember that movie. Now, in the documentary, Jenny also reflected on her own rise to prominence as a fashion star, saying, my wife is going to kill me, but that time was so crazy and fun, and there was something heartfelt about certain moments. Well, yeah, it was the 90s. So, in the 90s, it was popping, the drugs, the partying, everything was just, the drinks was flowing. It was just a lot of, and when you're that young and you got somebody that famous that's just smitten by you, and I think there's something about Jenny that I could definitely see why Madonna was smitten by her. She said, I remember my friends brought me to Times Square and they were like, look, and I had just done a Banana Republic campaign and underneath it said American Beauty. Never in my life had I been described as American or as a beauty. Being Japanese and being gay and walking down the street and being harassed, but for 1 second seeing that campaign, it was such a statement, and I'm grateful to Calvin Klein because he did something that was so positive. The documentary in Vogue, the 90s, is a star-studded look at the fashion industry during the decade. Now, it does speak to former Vogue editors, including Edward Enninful, and celebrities such as Naomi Campbell, who was a supermodel still, actress Gwyneth Paltrow, and Sex and the City star Sarah Jessica Parker. The documentary also showcases rare, never-before-seen archives and key figures in the industry and reveal the untold story of the decade's most celebrated pop cultural moments and movements. So, I know one thing, I'll definitely be watching this, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised by this. And you know what? Madonna has moved on. They also said that other contributors in it, in case y'all are interested, designers Tom Ford, Marc Jacobs, Jean-Paul Gaultier, actress Claire Danes, Amber Valletta, and Tyson Beckford, who are also iconic supermodels, and director Baz Luhrmann and politician. Why is Hillary Clinton in there? But they got her in there. Do she got hot sauce on her purse? But while Jenny is married to her wife for what they said 2014, right? So 10 years. Madonna is currently dating Jamaican footballer Akeem Morris, who's 28. So, and they said the pair appeared to have first met in 2022 after appearing on the August 2022 cover issue of Paper Magazine. So, in case y'all do want to watch, the final 3 episodes of In Vogue the 90s will be available to stream on Disney Plus on Friday, September 20th. So, that is definitely something I definitely want to see. And I do, like, I remember that Madonna and Jenny were very close. Jenny was actually in her, wasn't she in, we talked about this, right? The Girly Show? Where her boobies was all out and they was up there, dancing or whatever. And I could definitely see like in the 90s, Madonna was very much exploring her sexuality. You tend to do that when you're around a lot of the when you're around a lot in New York and just coming to terms with a lot of things that you never really got to explore. And Madonna explored that side. I don't know if she's bisexual. We haven't seen, like, I remember in the 90s she did dibble dabble with women. It wasn't just Jenny, also Ingrid Caceres. We've heard stories about that. I'm not necessarily sure if she dibble dabble with Sandra Bernhard, but they were thick as thieves at one point. So Madonna was always around the gays, not just the men, but the women as well. And that was that's a great time at her young age for her to be exploring or whatever. But she probably realized, you know what? It was more of a pansexual type of thing. It could have been just something that she was drawn to this girl physically. And Madonna, when you look at her, the type of women she was going for, they definitely were giving like masculine tea. She likes masculinity. And she did embody that a lot in her art and some of the outfits she was wearing, when she would embody Marlena Dietrich and all those other things, where she would bring that masculinity into her artwork and her fashions and the music videos and a lot of the art that she was exploring with her music. So I definitely understand that side. And maybe that when she was with Jenny and she was with Ingrid and she was with these other women that she was going in and out of relationships with, that was food for her artistic creativity. And she was just inspired by a lot of these women. And you tend to be, if you're an empath, you tend to be drawn to different type of people. It's not just about, the sex and all that other stuff. So, child, that was juicy. But I feel like, you know what? You have a right to tell your side and give us a little whatever. But I'll definitely be checking this docu-series out over on Hulu. So, funny enough, I do love the fact that this year we've been getting a lot of really interesting docu-series that's breaking down. Like, we had the one on Baywatch. We had the one on, Nickelodeon. We had this one about the models. Then there was a docu-series, I think, on Apple TV about the supermodels with Naomi Campbell and Cindy Crawford and a bunch of those. So I do like that. It feels like we're in our nostalgia era where a lot of the stuff that was going on in those days are finally, like, we're getting an inside look into that world that I basically grew up in from the 90s. So I still just say, what do you think of the story? Were y'all just as juiced out as I was reading all that tea to y'all? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so you said there's a porn actress who came forward and said they had a 15-year affair. Ooh, breaking news. Hold, please hold. 'Cause I'm like, y'all be spoiling me, chair. Oh, so yeah, we have a thank you for the story. So, I feel like the great thing about doing a live is that I can update y'all on the latest. So apparently, a judge has denied Sean Diddy Combs' request for bail after the rapper pleaded not guilty to trafficking. Combs appeared in front of Robin F. Tarnowski in a Manhattan courtroom on Tuesday. Diddy was charged with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. If found guilty, he faces, and I'm glad we finally gonna get, okay, so how many years he gonna get in jail? Child, they said he gonna get a maximum of 15 years behind bars or a maximum sentence of life. They gonna go for the latter. He gonna be in there. I told you, him and R. Kelly about to be soulmates and cellmates. The judge decided there were no conditions she could impose on Diddy. Tarnowski pointed out sex trafficking is a crime, it sure is, that happens behind closed doors, and the rapper would be hard to monitor even with pre-trial monitoring services. The judge considered alternatives to detainment, but found they were not sufficient. Tarnowski considered the weight of the evidence against Diddy is significant. Then this is why they had to take their time to break all this other stuff down before they could swoop down and throw his ass behind bars. Now, the rapper entered the courtroom wearing a black t-shirt and khaki pants. He was not handcuffed, nor were his feet shackled. When the shackles on my feet so I can dance, I just want to praise you. I just want to praise you. Just want to praise you. I don't know why I just went in there. I just think about the shackles and the feet and all that stuff. All of a sudden, my mind went to Mary. Okay, let me get serious because this is serious allegations right now. Anyway, so they said Combs glanced around the courtroom and looked at the jury box. Thinking, what, you gonna sway them? Ain't gonna happen, sir. You going to jail. Now, Combs offered $50 million bond as part of a proposed bail package, according to a letter submitted by his legal team Tuesday and obtained by Fox News Digital. In addition, Combs surrendered his passport to counsel on April 1st. His mother, Janice, of course, her and her dry-ass wigs was in the damn courtroom. I blame her for how her son turned out. I was like, girl, why'd you let that man be a mess? Anyway, his children, Chance, Jesse, Delilah, and Love Combs, each surrendered their passports under the bail proposal. Well, that's crazy. Why did all the kids and the mother have to surrender their passport? I guess they feel like what he was going to do was, if he were to be let go, that he would flee on a private plane and take all the kids with him, and they go and pull like um what the hell's his name, a Russell Simmons and go to Bali, or a Roman Polanski and go to Italy. So they said Mr. Combs' travel will be restricted to the Southern District of Florida and the Southern District of New York to attend court, meet with his counsel, and attend medical appointments, which we will address to the court in a separate sealed submission, as well as the Eastern District of New York or the District of New Jersey. And it says only to the extent that his travel to and from New York involves an airport in those districts. This is according to the proposal. The defense also proposed the equity of Mr. Combs' residence on he got a residence on Star Island. It said which was appraised for $48 million and the equity of his mother's home in Miami, Florida. Combs has attempted to sell his airplane since April of 2024. Now, on May 21st, 2024, counsel advised the AUSAs during the phone call that Mr. Combs had commenced efforts to sell his plane. The proposal stated several potential buyers showed interest in purchasing the plane, with the letter of intent signed just this weekend. So the plane has not yet been sold, but I'm sure, like, if it hasn't been sold, he's going to try to find something, a way to flee about the country. Gas up the plane. Let me get up out of here. They also said that Combs was also voluntarily relocated to New York on September 5th ahead of his arrest, where his counsel then immediately informed the government of Mr. Combs' whereabouts. The disgraced media mogul also offered home detention with GPS monitoring and all the standard conditions of pretrial supervision, which they said, oh, hell no. Oh, no, she better don't. We're going to lock her ass up because you could be a flight risk. So we can't tell what you're doing inside your house with the monitor, even though you got all the damn cameras like you're a paranoid drug dealer up in there. And I feel like all the other stuff that they said in this is that we pretty much got everything. So basically, y'all pretty much got the latest. He's been denied bail, so he's gonna stay his behind in the jail. And that's that. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna have to read that article later. People asking me questions and I'm live chat. But thank you, Raphael, for sending me that message. I'm glad y'all keeping me informed during the show. Definitely helps out. She was in the sex, but oh yeah, Carrie Ann Inaba. Oh yeah, Carrie Ann Inaba was in there with her little boobs. But Jenny's been around. So it was like, Cleveland, just tell us he really checks. Don't do that. Say really check his messages. But it's like, yeah, if you let me know it in the beginning, that was like, yeah, I don't check my messages when I'm live. But if you're telling me that some breaking news, I'm gonna definitely check what it is. That has to do with, the topic at hand. So that's the only time you're gonna get me to check my messages, because I don't want to be distracted and doing 50 million things with people sending me stuff while I'm trying to focus on giving y'all a show and entertaining everybody in the comments. But yeah, I was just playing when I said, yeah, don't do that. But it was like Jenny was in a girly show, in a girly talk interview. I think it was not long after they met. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's move on. Let's talk about my girl, Wendy Williams. How you doing? So The last time we talked about Wendy, we seen that she was out and about. I think she was at Dr. Sebi's son's wellness store. They were buying up some holistic products and things of that nature. And we had a rare sight in Wendy, and she was looking real good. She put on some weight. She was with her son, Kevin Jr., who some people was out here saying that Kevin ripping her off and all this other stuff. And it's like, first of all, I do not think little Kev is ripping off his mother. One of the things she did say when she was coherent and we didn't know about the auto-temporal aphasia and the dementia, that because he is her only child, she literally just rolls out the red carpet for him financially and she gives him whatever he wants. That's her only child, so she spoils the hell out of him. So for people to sit up out here and say that he's been taking advantage of her, and he basically said in the interview that a lot of the money that he was spending was basically on taking care of his mother. So we have that. But so she was in good spirits. But now comes word that her conservator has filed a lawsuit, her guardian. Conservator, same shit, different toilet, right? So apparently her guardian has filed a lawsuit against Lifetime and said that Wendy didn't really make no money while she did the documentary, while the creators made most likely millions. Now, not how you gonna prove that. You got to be able to. I guess you're gonna have to have them pull up to see how much money they made, and we'll see. But here's what the story said. Now, they said Wendy Williams' guardian is suing Lifetime's parent company, A&E Television Networks, Lifetime Entertainment Services, E1 Productions, Creature Films, and its executive producer, Mark Ford, and claims the host made chump change in comparison to the money they allegedly made. Now, court documents obtained by Page Six and filed by guardian Sabrina Morrissey claim Williams, who's 60, only made $82,000 to date, while those who profited off her heartbreaking story likely made millions. The complaint alleges that the network, along with the producer Mark Ford at E1 Productions, allegedly profited immensely from their exploitation of the former radio DJ for Where Is Wendy Williams, which aired back in February. Morrissey claims that despite filming sessions on numerous occasions, Williams has personally received around $82,000. The two-part docuseries chronicle Williams' declining health and alcoholism, all of which contributed to her being placed under a court-ordered guardianship in 2022. They said this is a paltry sum for the use of highly invasive, humiliating footage that portrayed her in the confusing throes of dementia, while defendants who have profited on the streaming of the program have likely earned millions. This is what the conservator further argues. Now, in the docuseries, Williams was incredibly vulnerable, often breaking down into tears on camera. In one scene, the former Wendy Williams show host cried over her finances, saying, "I have no money." Williams' conservator argues that the host was already in a vulnerable mental state when she filmed. And she was also self-medicating. Let's not forget about that. That Wendy was out here drinking, her woes, spend all day in bed, drinking, hiding bottles. Somebody was enabling and bringing her those bottles. Are you trying to imply that maybe it was the producers? But we've seen the people that was in her circle that didn't have a best interest. Will Selby, that big back broad that was sitting next to her. Yeah, let's pull her picture because I got her picture. This chick. She was another one who wanted the opportunity and was taking advantage of Wendy. You get a lot of these people in them circles. Her situation, in my opinion, is very similar to Brittany. When you are in your most vulnerable and you invite all these succubuses and vultures in your life and they see you as a money, like a bank, and they want to take advantage. They see you as their very own, even though you having issues with Wells Fargo, they see you as their own person of Wells Fargo. So in February, it was revealed that the iconic TV personality had been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia as well as aphasia. A series of tests showed she had started to lose words and act erratically. Defendants not only deliberately destroyed her credibility and image, but they also did so when she was incapacitated and able to consent to or avoid being filmed. Here's the thing. Now, if you are the conservator or if you're the person in charge of making sure that Wendy gets the help that she needs, whatever the case was, don't they, when you have a conservator or you have a guardian, don't they have to go, because she can't basically, if you know her situation and she can't make up her own mind about stuff. The question I have is, Isn't it up to Sabrina to make the decision and sign on the dotted line? Isn't it up to the manager that she had, Will Selby, and to come up with the decision on, okay, so now we're going to give her, we're going to put her on TV and she's going to make money and do all this other stuff, because he was in denial about the whole situation on the show too. And then you had all her other enablers, and then you had the family coming in and stepping in, and that was the only time they could see Wendy that was seeing what was going on. So if the network can prove that Sabrina ain't no damn angel in this situation, then Sabrina, I don't understand why you're doing this lawsuit. Because if y'all were aware that this was the situation, the vulnerable state that she was in, because I feel like that if Britney Spears couldn't make decisions for herself, but you had her father and all these other people that was attached to that conservatorship making decisions for her, and she just had to go along to get along, then I'm sure Wendy Williams had the same type of situation. So I don't understand how y'all sitting up here trying to make it seem like that, oh, Wendy just woke up one morning and it was just cameras in the room and they was filming all of this, and now she's exploited. She didn't make no money. Like, there had to be people in place that she hires to go and negotiate her deals. When Big Kev was in the picture, he was negotiating her deals and getting her what she needed. Yeah, he got off on the back end and he was out here showering his mistress with all the other things that he was giving her while trying to keep his show pony busy. But at the same time, I don't feel like all these other people that's in her life, like Will Selby and Sabrina, are innocent in this at all. I just feel like Sabrina is looking at this like she's embarrassed, she's been exposed, and now she's trying to save face by filing a lawsuit. I don't think she has a case in this whole situation, but maybe she does. If you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, present it in front of the court of law. And we'll see what happens when it comes down to it. Because, yeah, it was uncomfortable. And don't get me wrong, as much as, I love Wendy Williams. And Wendy Williams is someone who has definitely been an inspiration for me doing what I do in regards to talking about celebrity news, gossip, pop culture, that sort of thing. She is the pioneer. She is the one to do it. Before there was a TMZ, there was a Wendy Williams. Before Harvey was out here doing what he doing, Wendy walked. So a lot of these people out here, including myself, can run and financially benefit off of the celebrity news and gossip. So before all of this other stuff, excuse me. So I don't know. I just feel like Wendy was taken advantage of on both sides. What I loved about the documentary is, like, while it was uncomfortable to watch, because I almost lost my train of thought. While it was uncomfortable to watch, the thing that I got from it, analyzing and digging deep, because I love the deep dive. I don't just sit and do surface best. I'll dig deep and try to see what the tea is. One of the things I loved about it is that it exposed all these people that were in her life, exploiting her, taking advantage of her, and we was all giving y'all the side eye. So I'm glad that this thing came out. So whether you talking about she was exploited, whatever the case is, the fact of the matter that Wendy's conservatorship was exposed for what it is, and we saw the vultures doing what they was doing, and Lifetime basically showed us what was going on behind the scenes and pulled the curtain back, Wizard of Oz style. I'm glad it came out, but I will definitely be keeping abreast of the story as it develops to see if Sabrina got a case. I don't think she does, but like I said, if she has enough evidence and proof and dot all her I's and cross all her T's, we'll see if she'll be able to get a case and if she'll be able to financially compensate from it. I didn't even look to see what is she asking for. So if she's filed a complaint, what does she want? So it says, so I'm going to just read and see if there's anything in there. So it says, per the complaint, Wendy has stacked up her legal team by hiring high-powered civil rights attorney Roberta Kaplan and her partner Tim Martin, who represented E. Jean Carroll against Donald Trump. As our complaint shows in painful and excruciating detail, A&E, Lifetime, and Mark IV viciously and shamelessly exploited Wendy Williams for their own profit while she was obviously incapacitated and suffering from dementia. This is what Kaplan Martin LLP and Carl Cadwallader, Wickersham, and Taft LLP, attorneys for Wendy Williams' guardian, tells Page 6. Their behavior truly shocks the conscience, and they should not be permitted to profit from her suffering. We are proud to represent her guardian in holding them accountable. So you got Wendy's legal team basically supporting Wendy Williams' guardian, but not Wendy Williams, because I don't think Wendy filed this lawsuit. This is the people that I guess are part of it. So is this like a shakedown? Is this some way y'all trying to profit off of the thing and you basically using Wendy's legal team to fight your battles? Because I'd be like, sis, if you coming out saying was you need to find your own damn lawyers. Why is Wendy Williams lawyers taking on this case? If Wendy Williams herself has not gone before the court of law and filed the lawsuit. This sounds like it's from the conservator. So, like I said, but they said that Morrissey opposed the series from the start. But I'm like, if you're part of the conservatorship and they have to go through you, how is it that it's just not the math ain't math? And I just don't understand how that was allowed. And you just kind of like you just completely oblivious. Like, what's the point of you being there then? But you want to file this suit. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna keep abreast of the story as it develops. But let me know. I want to hear what your thoughts on this. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Okay, you said taking advantage of a woman who can't even take care of herself. Exactly. So I'm not buying this mess. I just feel like you're just trying to use Wendy Williams' money and all this stuff to file this lawsuit because your ass is embarrassed. Anyway, let's talk about another mess, and that'd be Justin Timberlake, who the people on social media are dragging him because he recently appeared on Jimmy Fallon, and they felt like, well, you took no accountability. They didn't address the elephant in the room. Y'all just act like that Justin didn't just do a press conference a couple of days ago, apologizing for driving while drunk and trying to give us a whole pep talk about don't drink and drive. Like this is the 80s and 90s and when they did them commercials. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions? Remember that with the egg and the frying pan? But I don't know why y'all surprised, because first of all, Jimmy Fallon is not that type of person. Jimmy Fallon is someone who act like, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to pry. I don't want to, he tries to, he's like the Mary Poppins, perfect in every way. And that's why I feel like a lot of these late night talk shows are a bore because y'all don't ask the questions that we want to know. So Justin Timberlake evoked a passionate response from audiences from the audience as he made his first media appearance after the drunk driving plea deal was finalized. Which that was part of the deal. He had to come forth and do that press conference because otherwise he probably would have had to do some time. Now, Justin Timberlake was accused of having no shame on social media after goofing around on a talk show on Monday without mentioning his recent driving while intoxicated plea deal. The 43-year-old singer made his first talk show appearance while pleading guilty to a lesser charge on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon on NBC. Fallon, 49, and Timberlake have been longtime friends, and their conversation noticeably did not mention Timberlake's recent legal troubles. The lighthearted interview was noticed on social media, with one posting on Twitter criticizing the singer, saying the following: Justin Timberlake being on Jimmy Fallon with no shame and getting off with basically a parking ticket is privilege at its finest. Hashtag Fallon tonight, the post read. Yeah, because I went and I see the clips on YouTube and they didn't even mention it. Everybody positive in the comments, or maybe what it was that people was writing some stuff in there and maybe the comments was being deleted. But you can't delete over on Elon Musk's Twitter, even though that's a no man's land for filth and mess. Now, others in the comment section of an Instagram post by the talk show mocked Timberlake for his arrest in the Hamptons earlier this year, saying, make sure he don't drive himself. This is what comment read. Timberlake hit the talk show stage showing off dance moves, probably off key, and Fallon quickly congratulated him on ongoing Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Fallon mentioned the upcoming second North American leg of the tour that will kick off on October 4th in Montreal, and noted that Timberlake added 10 shows to the tour. So apparently when everybody's sitting up here talking about that his tour is not doing well, apparently it is. Because he added 10 more days. Because remember, we was talking about it a while back. They said that his tour was kind of like Hennifer's and the rest of them, that the tour wasn't doing well. But it's like, in a way, turn lemons into lemonade. He's been able to take this tour and use it, or the controversy, and bring interest into his tour, because nobody's caring about the new music. Quiet as it's kept. And no, the new album flopped, but the tour seems to be doing well. That's where the money resides. Timberlake jokingly extended an invitation to Fallon to open his upcoming performance at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Thank God he's going there. I don't want it, because I'm glad I didn't work his show at the Garden. And I live for my job. So You go out to Brooklyn. First of all, their whole situation is a lot closer, a lot tighter, and a lot smaller. So you can go out to Brooklyn. But Fallon said he was only going to the concert to cheer on his good friend. Child, if y'all don't just start, I'm just waiting for them. Like, you should just threw everything off the desk. Justin should have just pulled down his pants. You should have ate his ass like it was a scene out of the Human Centipede. Because that's what y'all be giving when it comes to y'all friendship on his damn show. And first of all, who dressed him? Like, his outfits be a mess. And don't them pants look like the same pants that he was wearing at that press conference? Like, did you take them off and wash them at least? Now, oh gosh. He said, I'm going to go and scream. This is what Fallon said. Fallon steered the conversation to talk about the duet they recorded for Fallon's upcoming Christmas. Child, now he coming out with a Christmas album. You can keep that. You can pay it, in my opinion. They treated the audience to a brief preview of the track, You'll Be There. Timberlake and Fallon also played a silly game called Playlist Playoff, in which they competed to choose the best songs from different situations. So, so other people said in the comments, who was JT's stylist? They need a pay cut. Another person said, make sure he doesn't drive himself. We already read that one. Somebody said, ask him how the driving's going. The other person said, for his community service, is he sweeping up the soundstage? So that is funny because it was like, yeah, is that like, what is your community service? When does this start, and what exactly are you gonna be doing? You gonna be picking up trash on the side of the road? I mean, then again, quite as can be having to pick up himself, him being the trash and all. But when you'll be picking up trash, you'll be sweeping the park. Like, what exactly is your community service gonna be? So yeah, he played some stupid little game. He gave a little speech where he basically said, even if you have one drink, don't get behind the wheel of a car. There's so many alternatives. Call a friend, take an Uber. What is this? Who wants to be a millionaire? Call a friend, take an Uber. There may be travel apps. Still, take a taxi. Child, we don't need you to tell us what we need to do. First of all, when I've had way too much drink, Chris calls himself an Uber. I don't, there have been times when I've jumped on the train, and there have been times when I've been so blacked out drunk. I'm like, how the hell did I get home? I don't be remembering, but by the grace of the universe and God, it be helping. I tell you, I got a good guardian angel because there was a time during Get Queen's Pride, I was so drunk, I don't know how the fuck I got home, and I had to be at work the next day. I had to be at work by I had to be up at like 6 in the 6. Yeah, I had to be there like 6:30 in the morning. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. And then so there's that. So I say all this to say, I'm not surprised by Justin Timberlake trying to act like he didn't address the elephant in the room, and the fact that you had Jimmy Fallon. He knew that would be the perfect place for him to go on his show, so that way he didn't have to deal with people asking him the questions. This is what a lot of them do now, and this is like, I was watching a YouTube video. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Kayla Says. Shout out to her. They were talking about how, like, with the way that they're doing with these interviews now, that remember back in the day when how Diane Sawyer went in on, well, she went in on Whitney and Britney. And then you had, how they would do these interviews and how they would really grill you over stuff. Now these days, they doing interviews and they want you playing with puppies and asking, well, not puppets. They did that on Drag Race. But puppies, they got you playing with puppies, with answering questions. Or when you have Katy Perry going on some podcast and they don't even ask, like, she gives some stupid little statement about the whole, why are you working with Dr. Luke? And they don't even press and ask the question. So Justin Timberlake knows, because he's close with Jimmy Fallon, that he can go on that show, and Jimmy Fallon is not going to push him on the accusations. He'll go on maybe on Jimmy Kimmel, and maybe he'll go on these other shows, and they may ask, and he'll have to address it, but he's going to go to his safe space because he knows y'all not going to ask the question. So I don't know why y'all surprised. You should have known this was what you was going to get. So at this point, it's like, you either support Justin or you continue to troll him on social media for being your typical white male that just, hides behind his privilege and feels like nothing applies to him, that he's going to act like nothing happened. Typical. So anyway, I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are on this, I would like to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now let's get into our next topic, where there's a rumor swirling that the Kardashian reign on reality TV may be coming to an end. Because, them girls been all over our TVs for almost 2 decades. And now rumors are swirling that their reign in reality TV may be coming to an end. So let's get into that. So while the show was renewed for another 20 episodes in late July, an industry insider claimed there's no guarantee it will be picked up again. This is according to Radar Online. The Kardashians have ruled reality TV since 2007, when the show first premiered on E! Before later transitioning to Hulu. With the possibility of the Hulu show being axed in the near future, insiders claim that Momager, Pimp Mama Chris, has begun to fret over the loss of hefty paychecks and the spotlight that launched her family fortune and careers. Sources said, Chris wants the show to go on forever, but the economic realities of the streaming world are creeping up on her. Everything from marketing budgets to episode counts are getting tighter so streaming services can continue making a profit. Now, while Jenner said that she is worried over the potential end of the cash cow, you mean your kids or the show? The insider claimed her daughters, including Kim Kardashian, 43, Khloe Kardashian, who's 40, and Kourtney Kardashian, 45, aren't as concerned about the end of their TV reign. The source said when it does happen, it will enable them to concentrate on other things. There's definitely a feeling they've squeezed the lemon long enough. Child, y'all done squeezed that lemon dry back when y'all was on E, but I digress. Now, over the last 17 years, the Kardashians have grown the empire from reality stars to powerful business owners. Kim launched multiple ventures, including KKW. I was about to say, if she would have put KKK up in there, that would not have been a good look, especially since you love hunting, black men. So she has KKW Beauty and shapewear brand Skims, which is reportedly worth $4 billion. The 43-year-old mother of four is the only entrepreneur in the family either. Eldest sister Kourtney started her blog turned wellness brand Poosh, which sounds a lot like Goop, in 2012, and later launched supplement gummy line Lemmy. That's like weed gummies? In 2016, Khloe co-founded inclusive clothing brand Good American. Now, Kylie Jenner rocked the beauty world in 2015 with her signature lip kits from her brand Kylie Cosmetics. Since then, she's launched a plethora of brands, including Kylie Baby and Kylie Swim. So, and it's going to expand down to the kids because she also has Kendall and Kylie clothing collection. So it's, the both of them have that together. Obviously, if you have Kendall's name attached, it has to be Kylie and Kendall's clothing collection. Now, over the years, the family has shared their ups, downs, fights, and blah, blah, blah. Some of it, a lot of people say it's scripted. They don't believe like the girls are relatable and stuff. But here's the thing. It seems like people are watching the show still. And one of the things I will say about the Kardashians, I don't keep up with them. I haven't kept up with them in a long time. I'm sure there are plenty of people that do keep up with them. But do I think the show is canceled? I don't think so, because apparently what they said in regards to the ratings, season 5 was the most watched unscripted series premiere of the year on all Disney platforms and the biggest entertainment premiere of 2024. And this is according to Deadline. And they also said, season 5 debuted with 3.9 million views globally on its first 4 days across Hulu, Disney Plus, and Star Plus. I didn't even know they had Star Plus, or is it Stars? I don't know. What is Star Plus? Is that like from another country? Oh, I think Star is a part of the Disney thing, umbrella. And it said it has not just been new episodes that have been seen a bump. The Kardashian has legs, as the debut of season 5 tripled views of its first season and provided solid gains for seasons 2 and 4. It also was announced over the summer that the series has been relit, as we talked about, for 20 more episodes, and I think they're probably going to split it down to 10 each. So clearly somebody out here is keeping up with the Kardashians. Now, I'm not keeping up with them. And to me, when you keep up with the Kardashians, like when it comes to the show, they basically just use the show to promote their brands and all this other stuff. So do I think that the show is going away? Only time will tell. I don't know if I 110% believe this story from Radar Online, but I'm not the one that keeps up with them. I do know people, gays, that watch them and talk about them and get all caught up in what the drama. But I feel like a lot of it over the years, like with so many of these other shows, is contrived, it's fake. A lot of this stuff is, produced for TV. I mean, I do believe that Kim and Kourtney don't particularly care for each other. But for the most part, I just feel like a lot of it is just for the cameras. And from all the stuff we do be hearing about the girls, by the time it gets to the television, it's all late And it's, basically produced for their side to be revealing what it is that they were revealing. So we'll see if the show gets canceled, but I'm not too sure if that's actually, what has been told is necessarily true. So I say all this to say, are some of y'all excited to be getting a new season of The Kardashians that is going to be happening? Or some of y'all disappointed they still going to be on our TV screens? I just wish with the Kardashians, if y'all want to have y'all Kardashian show on Hulu, have y'all show. But I need y'all to stop popping up in all the things that I like. Like if I like a show or a thing or whatever, I don't want to see Kim. I don't care for her. I don't care about her. I don't care about their family. The way they move and stuff in this industry, be on some snake teas. And I just like to, out of sight, out of mind with them. I don't follow them on social media, but it just every time I turn around, when it comes to certain things, they're always in my peripheral view. So like I said before, I'm definitely interested in hearing what y'all got to say. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now Onyx says, I think reality TV shows are just not as entertaining as they were 10 to 20 years ago. What's more entertaining now is a live stream showing us what they're actually doing. Absolutely. That's why I probably think, like, what? The Big Brother live stream is way more entertaining than the edited version. And you can sit there and watch stuff like that. Like, I agree with that. Like, I'm not really as in tune with reality TV as I once was. When I was younger, yeah, it was like, I love Basketball Wives. I liked The Real Housewives. I liked all... I was reading Cleveland's comment. Whole stroll, like you said. Okay. When it comes down to it, it's like I love reality TV back in the day. When I used to watch Basketball Wives, when I used to watch The Real Housewives, when I used to watch Jersey Shore, when I used to watch Mob Wives, it was giving my life. Why do we have a show called Mormon Wives now? Like, I don't care about no damn Mormons. Maybe y'all need to come out with Scientology Wives, but then again, that ain't gonna happen because the Scientology don't want their tea being spilled. That's why you don't find a Scientologist running for office. So, but yeah, I don't feel like that it has that same momentum like it was back in the day. Now everything just feels so fake and overproduced and not scripted, but just, pre-planned and all that other stuff. Like it just feels, it's so obviously produced. I just don't think people care. So yeah, I just don't have that. But I just feel like a lot of times the networks are not ready to just evolve and try new things. So they just want to keep the same people employed. It's like, the Kardashians should have been off the air. Basketball Wives should have been off the air. Who the hell is watching Jersey Shore Family Vacation? Like, I don't understand, like, why these shows are still on. But these networks just want to keep giving what they give. And I guess because they think that, Gen X and millennials are sitting at home watching these shows. I don't care. But because this rumor is floating around, I just had to, of course, give my opinion on it. Now, speaking of opinions, let's get into the story about Miley Cyrus, who got herself a lawsuit handed to her because apparently they said her song Flowers, one of the biggest hits of her career, is a ripoff of a Bruno Mars song. Now, I did listen to the two songs, and I do have to say that there is similarities, I guess, because when you listen to the way Bruno Mars sings, what's the name of the song? When I Was Your Man or something or another, if you slow it down, it does give Flowers tease. Like, you could definitely tell the similarities, but I don't feel like it's a ripoff. I feel like it's a reach, but let's get into it. The singer is being sued for copyright infringement by Tempo Music Investments. A company claimed it owns a share of the copyright for Bruno's song When I Was Your Man. In the lawsuit obtained by TMZ, Tempo Music claims that there's so many musical similarities between Miley's Flowers and Bruno's When I Was Your Man that it's obviously the result of Miley intentionally copying Bruno. Well, we're not going to sit up here and act like white people ain't good at colonizing other people's things. But like I said, if you can prove that there are similarities and you lay it out in the courtroom, we'll see if you have a case. Now, Tempo Music claims the melody, harmony, and chorus in Flowers are substantially similar to the verse in When I Was Your Man, and they say Miley's song copies the chord progressions and mirrors some of the lyrics too. Now, Miley won a Grammy Award for Flowers, but Tempo Music says she wouldn't be getting her flowers without the Bruno song, which was released a decade earlier and reached the top of the charts. In the docs, Tempo Music says it is undeniable based on the combination and number of similarities between the two recordings that Flowers would not exist without When I Was Your Man. Tempo Music says Miley, her label, and the producers all had access to Bruno's song, and they're going after Miley for money, and they want her to be barred from distributing or performing Flowers. Now, just to let y'all know, Bruno is not a plaintiff in the lawsuit, which kind of makes you wonder if Bruno is not a plaintiff in the lawsuit and Bruno is not the one that's suing. Is this a Bruno Mars song? Does he own the rights to the song? And Tempo Music is the one that's really coming out saying like, "Oh, we want a piece of the pie." Probably because after that one time they worked with Bruno, he probably ain't worked with them since. So they need a payout. And Bruno, though, he ain't really out here touring. He's busy doing a residency in Vegas. I don't know how long that's going on. But like I said before, I listen to both songs. Well, we already know Flowers, so I need to listen to it. That song was played to death. So I don't even need to listen and try to compare the similarities. But I do agree that in certain parts of the song, when you listen to it, it's like, okay, I could see where they try to file this lawsuit and see if they could squeeze, a little more juice out that lemon. But if they have a case? Only time will tell, and we're just gonna have to wait, I guess, and see if she has, if they could break down and be like, well, we have a case here, and they can get some type of payday. But y'all saying y'all don't even want her be able to perform the song anywhere else because you want a piece of that pie. We finally got a piece of the pie. So anyway, I want to hear what y'all guys' thoughts on this. What do you think of this story? Do you think, like, listening to both songs, because I did put it down on my website, chrisavalon.com. I have both songs there. Well, it's the videos. Have you listened to both songs? Do you see or can you sense there are similarities between When I Was Your Man and Flowers, the biggest hit of Miley's career, and the song that won her very first Grammy? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so Felix says reality shows are getting burned out because a lot of shows try to be like each other. It's like with music, a lot of artists try to sound exactly, and that's just like there's no differentiation. And it's like we don't want this because one thing works over here. Now everybody want their version. Because it's like when the Real Housewives came out, we got to create different versions. So we need our Mob Wives, we need our Real House, we need our Basketball Wives, we need our all these other different wife type shows. And create different versions of that. Married to Medicine, basically housewives with doctors. I heard the similarity as soon as I heard it. Why did they wait so long? Exactly. Well, when did Flowers come out? Because usually, I believe it takes about 3 years to have a suit go before a judge. So we're probably around that mark right now of this is why they had to wait, that long time before they could process it, and it gets to that point. Oh, so it was last year. So it's about a year and some change, year and a half. That is a good question. Why did it take them so long? Reminds me of Born This Way and Expression. So I said Madonna didn't file a lawsuit against her. She just read her the riot act in the press and on that MDNA tour. Doing the mashup. Express Yourself, Born This Way, and She's Not Me. See, you said January 2023. All right, so now let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about Dula Peep, who just recently did an interview with Anderson Cooper for 60 Minutes. So in a recent interview with Anderson Cooper, Dula Peep revealed why she don't get too personal with her musical body of work. Because I guess a lot of people out here saying like why she's not out here like spilling her personal stuff and giving us an insight into who she is as an artist. So in a new wide-ranging 60 Minutes interview with the levitating pop star, journalist Anderson Cooper asked her for her response to critics who say her songs don't have a sense of who you are and aren't very personal. She said, it's something that I just naturally hold back. Some people are just so ruthless with their own private life that they decide to put it all out in a song because they know that it's going to attract people's attention. She said, for me, it was always important to make music that people really love, not because I was putting someone on blast or because I'm doing it for clickbait at someone else's expense. Was that a read to a Taylor Swift? Sounds like it to me. Now, her third album, Radical Optimism, while it flopped in the US, it has topped the official UK albums chart and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard 200 albums chart, her highest charting project to date. She's also gearing to embark on a 43-date world tour in support of the album. The 2025 leg of the tour is slated to launch on March 20th with a show at Rod Laver Arena in Melbourne, or Melbourne, as they like to say, Australia, and hit New Zealand before hopping over to Europe for arena shows in Spain, France, Germany, the Czech Republic, and the Netherlands, Italy, Belgium, and England, and then moving to North America for a fall run, which she's doing 2 nights at the Garden. That was just announced the other day when I was at work. I happened to see the big billboard, on the jumbo screen on the outside. Radical Optimism is coming. She's gonna be doing 2 nights at the Garden. I was wondering which she was gonna go. I didn't think she was gonna do Barclays. That's what Justin need to take his old dusty ass Timberlake, and that is where he's taking us behind. So we have her doing 2 nights, and I think she'll sell. I think a lot of the kids love Dula Peep. She's got a pretty significant fan base now, as far as like the music and everything and how people was feeling. um Radical Optimism, I do hope that she's gonna give us more music by the time she hits the road with this tour next year in 2025, because I feel like a lot of people the songs weren't registering, but who knows, maybe the songs will register a lot more when she's on a live stage, because sometimes when you hear a song in your ears and then you see them perform it on tour, and then you have the live band and the choreography and everything that Dula Peep is gonna give y'all. I'm like, oh, this song is serving. This song is way better like live than what we were getting, in Memorex. So, I'm like, girl. Now, if that was a read towards Taylor Swift, here's the thing. Now we do clown Taylor about always putting her personal business and her music, whatever. But if that basically is what fuels her creativity, then that's on her. Now, if her boyfriends from the past come out and start throwing shade at her over spilling personal tea for our entertainment, that's on them. And there are artists out here who do use a lot of what's going on in their personal life to fuel their artistic creativity. But Dula Peep ain't the first one that run around. I'm gonna just write songs. I'm gonna just give y'all a good pop song, and y'all just gonna bop to it, and then we move on. Kylie Minogue has made an entire career of doing that. We don't know a lot about Kylie. She'll probably tell us some things in her music videos, but for the most part, Kylie Minogue basically keeps a lot of her personal life private. Even when she was going through her cancer situation, um, she wasn't writing somber songs about what it was like going through cancer. She was singing and doing these upbeat pop songs. So not everybody is equipped to want to be out here and just singing sad songs and letting you all up in their business. I think it's not, I'm not even mad at her over doing this. There's some people's like, all I want to do is get up there and perform and give y'all a show on stage. Not everybody wants to have y'all all up in their damn business. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, everybody, when it comes to certain artists, they are how they are, and we should just accept it. Or if you don't like the fact that she don't give y'all a lot of her personal stuff that's going on in her life, then go find somebody else who will. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I mean, would you like Dula Peep to give y'all a little more insight into her personal life? Maybe she could find other ways of letting people in and not just being so like this blank canvas. Because I think some people accuse her of that too, that she just comes across as this blank canvas. Because the thing also, even with Radical Optimism, people's like, oh, you was up in here talking about how all these influences and all these different sounds and all this other stuff that you were using to give us this amazing album. And we listen to them like, well, okay, girl, where them influences at? Because we damn sure don't hear it and what we listening to. It just feels like you gave us basically Future Nostalgia Part 2, except it's a little more laid back. And I love the Kevin from Tame Impala, but them songs wasn't working under his production. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have 2 more topics. And then we are out of here with today's show. But yeah, let's get into some of these comments. Well, when you have no personality, you ain't really kidding. See, that's what it is too. That some people said, like, she lacks a personality. And that's what I was meaning when I said she a blank canvas. It's like you lack an actual personality. Yeah, she's a pretty girl. She can carry a tune. I do like her soft, raspy vocals, her deep, raspy vocals. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, there's a little vacancy behind them eyes. And that could be it too. Maybe the fact of the matter is the reason why she don't tell y'all nothing because she's boring. And say, yeah, she is boring, no shade. Okay. But she does what she does. And said, we already gonna be so bored with her by the time the next autumn comes around. Well, we'll see if she basically keeps everybody entertained when she drops that new when she drops her new her world tour, which she's gonna be giving during the show. I remixed a few of her songs because I like them. Her performance level has gotten better. Yes, it has. From when she would do that little hip thing that everybody would make fun of her for. She put more effort into her dancing, but she's still not that great. Yeah, look. At this point, it's like if you could give just as long as you get a passing in your performance, I'm fine with that. I'm not expecting her to give full on Britney back in the day, but as long as you get up there and you vastly improved in your performances, because they used to criticize her hard over that, then I'm here for it. But yeah, so we got, like I said before, we have two more topics and then we are done with today's show. So let's get into one of the topics and let's talk about Chapel Moan, who's out here bitching and complaining about the industry and how the fandom is getting dangerous. And if it does continue that, she's going to quit. So Chapel Moan continues to struggle with the more chaplain aspects of fame. Now, as the new cover star of The Face, the 26-year-old budding pop star has recalled an alarming encounter with two men who harassed her at an airport. She shared, I get out of the car, it's 5 a.m., and there's two guys waiting with a bunch of posters and ish for me to sign. I know they're not fans. I said no. I was like, I don't sign anything at the airport. I'm sorry. The Missouri native continued. One of them follows me to the TSA line, starts yelling at me, and everyone just turns and looks. He's like, you should really humble yourself. Do you know where you are right now? Don't forget where you came from. The star who recently revealed the purpose of her white face paint admitted, I told myself if this ever gets dangerous, I might quit. Well, sis, this is where you're going to have to pay some coins and hire a damn some round the clock security to walk around with. Celebrities do it all the damn time. So I don't know why you're trying to act like you can't pull some money together to hire security to protect you. She emphasized it's dangerous now, and I'm still going, but that part is not what I signed up for. And the singer-songwriter described fame as abusive. She presented a metaphor. She said the vibe of this stalking, talking-ish online, people who won't leave you alone, yelling at you in public, is the vibe of an abusive ex-husband. She reiterated by saying that's what it feels like. I didn't know it would feel this bad. Now, following the airport fiasco, Chappell said she cried at the airport bathroom and texted fellow singer Lord for advice. She said she sent me a list of things I should do in that situation. Literally wrote down 8 things she wishes someone would have told her when she was going through it, and she went through effing hell. She was a baby, the Good Luck Babe hitmaker said of Lord, who debuted on the music scene as a teen with her hit song Royals. Now, look, I understand that you're going through it in regards to stuff and you're trying to figure out the ins and outs of how you handle fame. I understand that Chapel has bipolar disorder. I'm sure she's on medications and things of that nature. And I'm sure that you are not the first, nor will you be the last to go back and forth on the pitfalls of fame versus your likes and your dislikes about fame. However, if you're going to be in this business, you got to take the good with the bad. And that's why they call it the facts of life. The facts of life. You have to take the good with the bad. Everything cannot be roses. You're not always going to just be able to enjoy the perks and enjoy all the great things. And I realize that, yeah, with the perks comes this other stuff. And I'm sure that there's more great things that you get to do and be a part of with this fame thing, like you get to be on the cover of Rolling Stone, like you get to be on the cover of The Face. Let's actually pull up one of them photos in case y'all haven't seen them. Yeah, you get to be on the cover of these magazines. You get those opportunities. You get to travel around the world, selling out places and fans screaming your name and losing their shit because of you. Those are amazing perks. But you're worried about people harassing me and stuff. That's always going to happen. You think you're the only one that's out here getting cursed out, disrespected? I'm not saying it's right, but you can't control how other people are going to react to situations. And you getting all over social media complaining about it, that's why people calling your ass Chapel Moan now. Because all you do is bitch and moan. And I don't want to sound like I'm unsympathetic to her situation, but every time I turn around, this girl is bitching about stuff, and it's getting tired. At first it was cute or whatever, like we got it, I was with you, but now you complain too goddamn much. So I'm at a point now, sis, either shit or get off the goddamn pot. You got a decision to make. It's either you scale back, you stop, since you talking about you turn down all these endorsements, maybe you need to start turning down doing magazine covers. Maybe you need to start turning down doing the VMAs, which you basically screwed over your fans and decided, oh, I have scheduling conflicts. Girl, first of all, we just found out over the summer about the VMAs and when they were going to schedule it. You already had your tour dates booked overseas before MTV made this announcement of when they were going to do the VMAs, and then moving it the next day. It didn't matter which day they were going to move it because you were touring at that time. So you decided, oh, I'm just going to not do the show that I've been doing 100 times already because I want to give this Joan of Arc performance. And yes, the performance was fierce, but you doing all of that because it was like, oh, well, I want to be at the VMAs and I want to be around my celebrity peers and I want to get to be on TV and I get to do this show and it gets more people to come in my situation. But still, you chose an industry event over the people that help you get where you are. And basically just kind of pulled the Justin Timberlake, which is like, you made no qualms about it. You didn't own up to it. You kind of just brushed it off like the shit didn't happen. Like he recently did on the Jimmy Fallon interview about the DWI. So, like I said, I like Chapel Moan because that's what I'm gonna start calling her. Excuse me. I like her, but lately you've been turning me off with a lot of the complaining. Because I'm here for you with having your boundaries and making situations where you're saying that you don't want to go, you don't want to do certain things, you want to have your boundaries, you want to be able to go out and do things. But guess what? When you're a celebrity, the minute you step outside your door, you are not whatever her government name is. You're Chapel Rome. Yeah, that's who she is, because that's her name. But Chapel Moon, she's gonna be with me if she keep complaining. But like I said, with this whole thing, it's like you got to figure it out because you keep going on social media and you sending mixed messages where you basically saying that you despise the dark side of fame. Where I always said you can't have the yin without the yang. That's if you in the whole spiritual thing. But then you cancel tour dates, do the VMAs, and appear on the cover of all these magazines. So I say at this point, sis, hire a security guard. She has multiple covers. She has 3 of them. Hire a security guard or 2 to keep your fan or these troublemakers at bay. And you could have conversations with this security, be like, yeah, come over and let them sign out, sign the autographs, whatever, and not them creepy ass men who knew I was coming off the airplane and basically just want to sell my damn poster and my signature on eBay. So either hire a security guard or find ways to scale back from appearing in public. But I get you want to say, well, why do I have to sacrifice being out in public when I'm going to be approached? I should be able to have these things. I should be able to go out and nobody bothers me. Well, sis, you're not a regular girl no more. You're Chapel Rome. I'm sorry. The minute you hit that plateau and you become a big superstar, the life that you once had, you wouldn't put that where? Back there, because you're not that girl no more. So either you scale back and you just don't go in and want the perks and the fame and all that extra stuff that you like, that you're getting now, 10 years in the game, that you're getting because of, the success of this new album and going on tour and things of that nature and opening up for Olivia Rodrigo. So, yeah. So, I think I don't have nothing else to offer on that, but let's get to this final photo. So, yeah, that's the other cover art in case y'all haven't seen it. So, I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this? So y'all tired of hearing Chapel moan about the downside of fame? It's like, girl, we get it. I understand, like, you knew that there would be some dark side because you don't get, like I said, you can't have the yin without the yang. There's got to be balance somewhere. There's got to be give and take. So while we understand that other stuff, I understand you didn't probably think it was at this magnitude. And maybe that with this current generation, they're not preparing y'all for the pitfalls of fame like they did a lot of my generation and some of these other kids, the ones that, were up under in that Disney Nickelodeon machine. So whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. Okay, so now we have comments. No shade, but Chapel, but she was the same one who would complain about not being a bigger artist back in 2020, but now she doesn't want it. This is what comes with being a bigger artist. That's why I said, look, this is why I always tell people, be careful what you put out in the universe. Because when you put something out there in the ether, and it may not come today, it may not come tomorrow, it may come in 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, or whenever. But when it shows up, because you put that in the ether that you want the money, the success, fame, and glamour, you have to know that, yeah, look, it finally came, your hard work done paid off, but you got to realize with all of that, this other stuff comes with it. Everything is you're not going to be able to just have everything be peaches and cream. That's not how the world works. So, and the sooner you figure that out and you learn it, the better. The way you'll be able to navigate it. But if you can't handle the fame, then maybe you need to step back. You need to figure out what you need to do. You need to not be as much in the spotlight as you want. And you keep running off with your mouth and bitching and moaning. Oh, these fans gonna give you what you want. You want people to leave you alone. They're gonna leave your ass alone. You're gonna wish like hell that you still had them perks and all that fame, and you had these people still out here supporting you. You selling out them stadiums and arenas and things like you've been doing. I don't think Chapel she's not cut out for fame. And you know what? It's good that she's learning this now. While, yes, this is 10 years in the game, her career's taking off early. So the sooner she learns this, then she needs to take all the advice that she's been getting, people sliding her DMs, and figure out how to scale back and not be caught up in that matrix. She seems really ungrateful for her success. Exactly. And there's a lot of people that would kill for that too. Not that they would want the dark side, but you got to, like I said, you need to figure out how to navigate through that. But the thing about Lorde is that she never kept a close relationship with her fans, social media. We never hear from her because that's naturally her thing. Chapel is the same one always posting on IG. Yeah, that's true. It's like when Lorde come out with an album, that's when people just go out and they listen to it and all this other stuff. We kind of get that Lorde is a loner. So she's kind of perpetuated herself as that from the beginning. Chapel be all over social media with her pictures and talking about I'm your favorite drag queen, and all that mess. And getting adopted by Sasha Colby. And that's her drag mother. Always makes me laugh when Stan's dad on South Park does his Lorde. It's like Chapel wants to be an underground artist, but still be a mainstream pop artist at the same time. Well, you want to know something? Maybe she need to have a conversation with Madonna, because Madonna's been able to do that. She always has her foot in, back in the day. I don't know now. But back in the day when she was ruling the charts for 3 decades, she had her finger on the pulse of what was going on in the underground, but also was still able to manifest and be that mainstream act. So she needs to figure out how to balance that. They said she's not an icon. Like you said, that word gets thrown out so quickly these days. 3 months ago, I had never heard of her. Absolutely. To me, an icon is someone who's had a lasting career. Icons, to me, I always feel like you have to at least be in the industry for over 2 decades. If you had a career for that long period of time, like Madonna's an icon, Cher's an icon, Tina Turner's an icon, Diana Ross is an icon, Barbra Streisand is an icon. Celine Dion is an icon. Whitney Houston is an icon. When you look at people like Beyonce, she's a legend. She's not an icon yet. Kylie Minogue is an icon. She's been making music for 3 decades. So when you look at some of these girls, it's like, no, you're not an icon. You're not a legend. Child, you still got Similac on your breath. What you talking about some damn icon at 3 months? This is what I hate about this new generation. No shade to you Gen Zers, but somebody got to teach y'all. Pull up a little chair, because y'all need to joking. No, but not really. You need to have you got to be able to put it down for some years before you can throw that around. You can't be just putting out music and then you calling yourself an icon. And yeah, Paris Hilton ain't no damn icon. I don't care what she called her latest album that nobody bought or is listening to, because that music is terrible. But you're not an icon. You may call yourself an infinite icon, but you ain't no icon. Maybe you're an icon in other places, but not in the music business. Not even when you spend the ones and twos. It's possibly just her Saturn return. Or maybe it's her bipolar ring. It's a chaperone. She needs to look at what Britney went through, or Michael Jackson, or even Madonna. Yeah, Michael Jackson's another one who's an icon. I don't know if Britney's an icon. She ain't been around. She ain't been making music long enough. I'll call Britney a legend. I'll call Christina a legend. I'll call Usher a legend. I'll call Pink a legend. Y'all ain't at that status yet. It said, try running and having the cameras flashing around, or just staying in a hotel for Michael's safety. Yeah, I think they had it worse back in the day with the way that things were. This is pre-internet. But maybe it is worse now because everything is, we have 24-hour news cycles. Back in the day, we didn't really have that. Did you see the trail? Wait, is it recent? No, I have not. And it said Madonna had to pay her dues before doing what she issued. Before, I guess, doing like a prayer. Mm-hmm. She want to take you there, just like Amuse to me. You are mystery. Paris is more fine. Paris who? Dupree? He said Paris is more of a fashion icon. Oh, you talking about Paris Jackson? What Paris we talking about? But yeah, a lot of the artists have to. Pay their dues before they're able to do what they want. It's the same thing like I said with Madonna. I mean, not Madonna. Who's the other one that I said? Beyonce. Beyonce had to literally pay her dues and give the labels what they wanted before she could go off and give y'all lemonade. Well, give us lemonade. And then she was able to go and do all the things she wanted to do. Well, if the Whitney concert film just came out, I will definitely check it when I get off the live. But let's move on and let's get to our final topic and talk about Marlon Wayans, who's open about his trans son, Kai, and also dragged Elon Musk in the process. So Marlon Wayans opened up about his fatherhood to his trans child, Kai, in a candid interview on the Screamer for Hudson show. Yeah, I don't call her Jennifer Hudson. She's Screamer for her because she's always screaming. So yeah, he recently did an interview with Screamer for, and here's what he said. So they said the actor and comedian told about his oldest child on the Screamer for Hudson show on September 17th, that's today, and the clips is on YouTube if you haven't seen it, saying that Kai is the same child they was before, they just got a beard now. Okay, same baby. Right before that, host Screamer for Hudson asked her guest what he has learned the most about himself through the experience of learning Kai was trans. Saying, I learned that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was. This is what Wayans 52 had to say. I learned that my family, my brothers, my sisters have prepared me to be a rock in our family. Hudson, who's 43, also called the support that Wayans has been giving Kai amazing and asked him about the journey, what the journey's been like, saying, those are my babies, said the father of three, who also is a dad to son Sean, 22, and daughter Axel, 21 months. Damn, he just had a baby. But that's what sperm will get you. You can keep pushing out them children. Well, you keep making them. Women can't always push out the children because the eggs get powdered at a certain time. So they said, I went through the 5 stages of grief to get to the beautiful, magical place called acceptance. And then he also gets into talking about like losing his parents and all that other stuff. But he also, speaking of which, went in on Elon Musk, especially on the way that he's been treating his trans daughter, Vivian Jenna Wilson, who has been dragging his ass all over social media, especially the recent thing that he said about, Taylor Swift, who's endorsing Kamala Harris. And then you had the little stinky one, the orange bastard, going around. Yeah, because he looked like he's staying. And I've heard that he does. Trump. That he was going around talking about he want to impregnate the girl and all this other mess. And Vivian went in on him. So, but this is what he said on the Club Shay Shay podcast. He said, I don't like what he be saying about his trans child. You don't treat them babies like that. You don't just own your baby. Love your child. Why when I read that, I feel like I'm channeling Monique. My sweet babies. That's what I be feeling like. Yeah, so this was the picture that he was getting clowned on by that heifer over there. What's his name? Vlad, who I just saw recently interview Spice over from Love and Hip Hop and was talking to her. That would have been a good topic that I think I could have brought up in regards. I'll probably do that next time. When he talked to her about Jamaican, gay reggae artists and what her thoughts was on that. It wasn't nothing bad, just to let y'all know. I just hated the fact that she kept using the word sexual preference. Like, we prefer to be homosexual. It's like, that's not how that works. It's in our DNA. It's in our genes. It's who we are. It's part of us. It's not all of who we are, but that's a part of who we are. We don't just prefer to be sucking no dick. And lesbians don't just be preferring to eat the box. It's just, that's the way our brains is wired. Sorry, but yes. But yeah, the word, I don't get offended by a lot of words, but I can't stand when y'all be saying that word preference. So now talk about his wider family and the acceptance of LGBTQ plus children. Wayans said, I'm sad to say some parents, some family members, and some people, it'll take them a lifetime. They'll never get to that magical place that I'm at, which is just acceptance. Still my child, that's my baby. Speaking about Kai's transition, Marlon also opened up further, saying that being the last to know was hard on me. The white chick star added, but as hard as it was, I think that it's not important. It's important what you went through, the 5 steps of grief, but I think it's important that you get to acceptance. And I'm proud to say it took me a week, but it felt like forever. And we need to, let's talk about that, because when you have to realize the 5 stages of grief, I think a lot of times when you come out as either a homosexual or you come out as trans, especially if you're a Black child, I would say person of color, but let's focus on being Black. You don't realize how hard that was. When it was for me, I'll say, for example, it was hard for me to come out. First of all, my father found out with me because he found gay porn. But I also tried to do this whole thing where I sat them down and I tried to come out the first time. I couldn't do it. I was like, I try to be what you want me to be, this, all this stuff. Like, it's really difficult. And I think parents need to understand that. It's not easy trying to be gay, especially when you grew up in a household where gay is being seen as an abomination. You're going to go to hell. This is what churches and everything teaches you, especially if you came up in the Black church. I didn't come up in the Black church, but I grew up Catholic. But I know I have family members who did grow up in the Black church, so I'm aware of what that is. When you go to those mega churches and this, that, and the other, if you have family members that are evangelicals, like I've been around all that. I know family members that's like that. And then being accused by people of being a Chester the molester when that's a damn lie. And all these other different things. So I totally get all of that other stuff. And you hearing all these stories that grow up in the 90s where you're going to be told that, yeah, you're gay and you're A, going to hell, and B, you're going to die of AIDS. These are the fears that a lot of us have. So that it takes a long time for us to want to come out and speak out on these things out of fear of being rejected, of being thrown out of our families' homes and having to be homeless. That's also another thing that we notice, like when you grow up Black and queer, you see Paris is Burning. When I used to be, when I was a kid growing up in New York, the gays, our solitude would be, we go down to the piers. And that's where all the homosexuals would hang out. All the trans girls, the drag queens, the gays, the ballroom girls, the butch queens, we would all go, the femme queens, we all go down to the pier. And that's when we would find our solitude. And that was also a way for me to come out too, because I took my mother and my younger brother down to the pier when I was coming up too and kind of give them that historical situation. So that was also a way for me to present a part of who I was and giving a little history lesson. So I think a lot of times parents don't realize that there's that fear on our side. And that's probably why he was hurt that he was the last to know, because Kai probably felt like, based off all the things that I just said, that he couldn't come out and be himself to his father and give that news because he didn't know how Marlon was going to react. Especially because, there's a lot of people, even when you grow up in the entertainment industry, a lot of people sit up here and act like they liberal and they live for the gays or whatever because they buying tickets to their shows, but then deep down they homophobic. And remember, at one point, Cher went through that with Chaz. She gagged, she's a gay icon and gagged when she had a trans child. Well, first of all, she was a lesbian and then went trans. So she came out twice. She came out once as a lesbian. She came out again as a trans male. And then so that's like a double situation. But then on the flip side, I definitely get it with the parents. It's sort of like, yeah, you've gained a bonus child, but you have to mourn who they were. That assigned gender at birth. You have to go through those grief periods, kind of like rehab. And you got to go through that situation. You got to go through those motions to come out the other side. And it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, I love my child. And I implore a lot of the parents, love on your children. Please don't reject them. Because the worst thing you could do is you could miss out on so much. You're worrying so much about what your friends think, homophobic family members, your church, all that other stuff. Put all that to the side. Put that to bed. Them people ain't feeding you, they ain't fucking you, and they damn sure ain't paying your damn bills or putting clothes on your back and a roof over your head. So that's them over there shouldn't matter. Love on your children unconditionally. I know it's like hard because, you know, people go back and forth with the way that they were raised and the teachings and church and all the other stuff. Let me get me started on organized religion. But at the end of the day, these kids, you know, us homosexuals and trans people and lesbians and the bis, we didn't ask to be born. We didn't ask, like, nobody wants to wake up and just be like dealing with assault, abuse, ridicule, being bullied, or take our lives taken, which is what happened with a lot of trans people, especially trans women that are being unalived in this country on a daily situation, and it's not being talked about enough in the media. That's why I love, like, there's people on social media that do bring these stories up. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I'm glad that, you know, Marlon came out and said his piece and is showing unconditional love for his child. I love people like Marlon Wayans doing it and Dwayne Wade. You know, we need more upstanding Black men giving great examples of loving on their children regardless of who they are, because I feel like Black men also get a bad rap when it comes to being out here and supporting and loving on their kids. Like, my father is a perfect example of being like an upstanding Black man. So when the people going out here saying all this other stuff, there are some good men, Savannah, out here in this world. Good Black men, Savannah, out here in this world. So let me know what y'all think of this story in the comments down below. Now, speaking of comments, we got a lot. Oh yeah, you said Paris Hilton. I don't know why I forgot just that quick about what Paris we talking about. None took Madonna seriously until True Blue and Like a Prayer came out. It said, check out that Matthew Perry report later. You should hear what Kelly Osbourne was saying. It was probably the most honest and personal she's been in years. Well, she's always been one very upfront about, you know, her sobriety and things of that nature. Kalani says, I'm not feeling that whole grief thing is just as ignorant. We need to stop accepting such nonsense. It says it's so horrible to be trans and gay. One needs to grieve their child. Well, I think what he's referring to, like I said earlier, when you're saying the grief thing, it's sort of like you're mourning the child that you. When people have kids, they're not thinking about your kid coming out gay, your kid coming out trans, and it's just like, I'm mourning the person you once were. T.S. Madison will tell this story too when it comes to Miss Mary and how her mother had to grieve Timothy before she came to, you know, T.S. being who she is. And there's a lot of people who are queer that will say that. So also, let's give the parents the grace to go through that period of, let me just come around to accepting it, fighting off those indoctrinated beliefs that you get from the outside world in regards to what gay and trans is, and allowing the adults, the parents, the grace to come to where you're at. Because I feel like a lot of times when you are of the LGBTQ community, especially the trans community, a lot of you new generation trans, a lot of y'all be getting mad when people ain't here where you're at. People, you have to give people the time and the grace to catch up to where you at. Just because you here, don't necessarily mean everybody gonna be here. So I feel like a lot of times people in our community need to give family, friends, whoever, the grace to be able to meet you where you're at, and then we move beyond that. So my dad told me when I was 12, if he found out I was gay, he would disown me and then he did kick me out after I came out. So exactly. So, you know, you are another one who understands what it's like. I was lucky that my parents didn't disown me, but you know, it's a rare thing when you have things like that happen. He was part of the reason I was the S word in my teen years. Y'all can read that. Then my cousin turned on me after, yeah, I remember that story. Well, look, I had my brother spread a rumor about me SAing him and then other family members came out and said that he's making it up. He's a liar. And he was. Now, do I believe something happened to him? I do, but it wasn't me. And even my evangelical cousin came out and said, "Oh no, that's a lie," because there was somebody in my family that went around spreading that rumor, and that bitch is dead, so that's good for her. That was an evil ass broad. My mother's sister, who basically was around, you know, your son gay, right? I'm like, bitch, mind your business. What about your own nasty ass daughter who was out here being a hoe and screwing the neighborhood, and then ended up getting pregnant by a child molester who molested his own daughter and is in jail for it? So if we gonna sit out here and spill tea and try to exploit people's shit, I got a platform. I could do that. Two could play that game, sis. My mom and me are super close. She met some of my friends and people I've dated. And my sister tried to tell her about that boy. He lived up the block from us growing up. My dad won't meet any of my friends, and as far as he's concerned, I don't date because he never met anyone I've been with. And yeah, sometimes like, okay, so if you're not interested in getting to know a part of me, and I feel like that's another important thing that kids want their parents to just get to know a part of them. If you're not willing to meet me halfway and accept all of me, then okay, you're missing out. Like the world's still gonna turn and keep going, whether you accept me or not. You don't have to accept me, but you will respect me. So, so I never told you this, but I came out as a trans woman 2 years ago. But now I dodged the question when asked if I'm a trans woman. Make most people assume I'm non-binary or something else. Well, yeah, I feel like non-binary is another way that people do. That is something that people kind of just do, similar to trying to find the right words. I feel like that's a safe space that people go to before coming out as trans. I think it's the same issue with, and I know some people won't get mad at this, but bisexuals. Now, I'm not saying all bisexuals are gay because that is a stereotype. However, there are some gays that will say I'm bisexual when they really just like the peen, because it's easier to come out as bisexual versus coming out as a homosexual. Now it's kind of like it's different. Like if you come out as gay, people don't care. But it seems like people do kind of thumb their nose. Oh yeah, like there's a lot of biphobia that goes on. So are you still a trans girl? I confuse myself and everybody else about what I identify as, so I don't even like talking about. That's a new gen trans. That's a new gen trans people for you. That's what I was like. You know what? You don't even have to disclose your business to people. If you run around here doing whatever you're doing, go ahead and do it. These people, come out in the business that pays them. You don't owe anybody anything. When you're ready and you feel comfortable enough to come out and tell people what your situation is, then so be it. Ooh. Anyway. So, this was a good one today. We had a lot of topics we got through. So we are officially at the end of the show. Till the next time for a brand new episode of Chris Alma Unfiltered. I have no idea when I'm going to come on because, and I'm gagging at this. So apparently, tomorrow, and he was on The View today, this comedian by the name of Sebastian Maniscalco. I don't know who that is, but he was on The View, and he was talking about how he sold out 5 nights at the Garden. So he's going to be there, and I've been scheduled for every one, except I ain't going to be able to go for this one on Saturday because I got a prior engagement. So, yeah, he's doing 5 nights there, and then, the Charlie XCX show is Monday. So that's a big one. So I'm going to see if I can try to figure out if I could jump on the line early in the morning and give y'all a show. So I'm going to start working on some hot topics tonight. And if I could pull together a quick show and give y'all maybe a good hour and a half and not give y'all like the full 10, 11, 12 topics and just give y'all at least a good 4, 5, or 6, then, I can still get the shows in and I can still hit them algorithms and all the other stuff. And then, I still want to give y'all a show because I don't want to have to like let my channel kind of go all the way down because I'm not keeping as active. So anyway, I want to say before y'all go, please, if y'all have not already, to help with the algorithm, hit that like button, that subscribe button. If you are a first time viewer of this show, please hit that notification And like I said, the subscribe button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I want to thank all of you that were watching in the comments or watching the show, commenting, because I see I got a lot of numbers today. I'm looking up in there in the comments. I mean, looking at the numbers and all other stuff of the people watching, because I can see all that on my end. But yeah, so hit the like button, that subscribe button, smash the notification button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all who were commenting. Thank you all for keeping me up to date on this whole Diddy stuff that's been going on, because I've been keeping y'all up to date in this live stream. I hope that this is it with this for now, meaning the latest on this. I'm sure more stuff is going to come out, and I will definitely be keeping abreast of the show. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for commenting. As usual, I love you all. And until next time.